Hey all, J-Man here. I just wanted to tell you about beardedshirts.com. It's a great place to get a lot of cool superhero shirts and other merchandise. You can scroll, they've always got sales on. As you can see, they've got these really cool print all over shirts, which I really love. That's Eddie, the founder of the site. And if you're looking for stuff, all you got to do is you click on the search here and you can type in all over. And that's going to show you the all over prints, which are really, really cool. Look at that. You got Legion of Superheroes, you got Brave and the Bold, you got JSA, you got Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all kinds of stuff. So check out beardedshirts.com. Hey guys, J-Man here. Welcome to Days of High Adventure. Today we are talking about Circle of Iron, and we're going to really do a deep dive on this movie. It's a great movie, a lot of fun. We'll talk about it. It's a Bruce Lee related product, so we'll mention that. I want to let everybody know that we are streaming this to multiple locations. So if you're here from another channel, the person who hosts that channel is going to be on very shortly. We're just doing a quick introduction. I want to let everybody know what I've got going on this week. Tomorrow, of course, as every Monday is, it's Earth's Mightiest Mondays. Every Monday, Sean and I review and talk about 4 different Avengers comics, and tomorrow is going to be episode number 21 of Earth's Mightiest Mondays, and we're going to be covering 78, 79, 80, and 81. So 4 more issues. Tuesday, I'm going to be on Wrestling with Horror, and we're going to be talking about the movie You're Next. So check out Wrestling with Horror. The link is in the description of all of my videos, including this one, so check them out. Wednesday, I'm going to be on the Action Elite Live, and we are going to be talking about the masterpiece, at least in my opinion, the masterpiece called Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about that on Wednesday with all of the guys from the Action Elite. Make sure you are subscribed to the Action Elite. The link to the Action Elite is linked in all my videos, including this one. So check the description. Friday, of course, is going to be Star Wars. So every Friday we do 4 Star Wars comics. So we've actually completed the Star Wars Marvel comics, the first 6 issues. So we've done the first 6 issues, and we're going to be doing 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I think I have a graphic for that. Yes, I do have a graphic for that. So that's going to be on Friday. So Friday, we're going to be talking about that. Now, Thursday is Fantastic Four First Steps. I will post a review Thursday night for that. And 1 week from today, we're going to be looking at Brave Star. Yes, the Brave Star movie plus 10 episodes of the cartoon. Really looking forward to doing Brave Star. That is going to be awesome. Before we bring in the rest of the panel for tonight, let's thank my channel members. These are my super friends, as I call them. So I always thank them at the beginning of every stream. And that's a big thank you to Dan, Sean, Steven, Brennan, Mark D, RR, Philip Story, Digger Jim, Guagnar, Just Joe, FK, and GT. And I always thank my good friend Clobberin Times, who's in the bottom corner there next to Superman. He's a good friend of ours. He did pass away about a year and a bit ago. So we miss him. So we always shout him out on the beginning of every stream. So there you go. All right, let's start bringing in some of the panel so we can get going here. Hey.
I can't wait.
Star, Eyes of the Hawk.
I think I watched 10 episodes, so I think I'm good now.
Oh my God, you're getting ahead of me. I got to watch I got to read 45 comics. I finished reading Cleopatra, or Antony and Cleopatra today, the Shakespeare play. I finished that today. That was my casual reading.
Yeah, I read some comics for my channel, and I haven't done videos for them, but I can just like rattle them off, right? But
get them go. I gotta do first appearance of Hawkeye. I gotta do Wonder Woman. Next episode of Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. That's got to come in. So lots of stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's bring in. So how I don't know if I have enough intros for everybody, but we'll bring in. Okay. I'll bring in. Where's my here we go. Hey, Charlie.
As long as that one stays mine, I'm totally fine.
Yeah,
That's
you got the
corner.
All right, let's bring in. So I'm going to give Steve Mr. Fancy Pants.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What's up, everybody? What's
Hey,
up?
how's it going? All right, let's bring in Ross. We're going to give Ross his favorite.
I can't wait any longer.
It was worth the wait.
Neil Breen.
Hey, is Your next a sequel to You're the Hunter from the Future?
No, but You're the Hunter from the Future is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, and Your Next isn't quite 10 out of 10, but it's pretty good.
All right.
All right, let's take a look at who's in the chat. First one is Zykor Devstar. How's it going? Am I saying Zykor right? Is that correct? Hey, thinking of you, buddy. I just got the next 2 pieces of Devastator right there. I've got 4. I think I can form. I'm missing like an arm and a leg or something like that for Devastator. So once I complete Devastator, that's going to be my first combiner that I've ever.
Nice.
Is that my first combiner? Yeah, that'll be my first combiner.
I thought you had Computron or something. No?
No, I really want Computron, but I don't have Computron.
Yeah.
Give me back. Max Normers, that's Charlie. Thank you. He's in the chat. Classic Comics is here. Classic Comics is going to be here on Monday for Earth's Mightiest Monday. Can't wait.
Classic.
Yes, the classic Mad Max trilogy is a masterpiece. I agree. They're all 10 out of 10. Let the David Carradine jokes start flying out. David Carradine, hey, FK, how's it going, dude? Yep. FK is one of our super friends, so thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Lawrence, no, I'm not doing any of those.
Come on.
What would you say? What I didn't miss? I missed it. What did he say?
He said, "Thanks for hanging out." That's messed up.
That's the only one. He said, he said to do it, so I customer's always right.
The customer is always right, except for when they're not.
Exactly.
Looking forward to Mad Max Jonathan. We don't need another hero. We don't need another hero, but we kind of do need another. We don't need another hero was the inspiration for James Gunn's Superman.
Come on. Really? Already? We're just 2 for 2 already as we go.
Already happening here. Hey,
you said nobody's going to join us. Good thing.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
See you later. Yeah, my Devastator is going to be like Anakin. Maverick 77 Defender. How's it going, dude? Warcraft 2016 is an underrated movie. I agree with that.
It is. It's cool. Yeah.
That was an awesome movie. And that has the most attractive lady orc of all time. That was the girl from Mission Impossible 4, right?
Was it? I
think
remember.
it was her.
Is that Paula Patton?
Paula Patton. Why'd they drop her? They dropped her from Mission. I was so pumped. I was like, "Oh man, this is it." They dropped her.
Yeah,
she was too good. I think they're like, "Shit, she's like showing everybody up." And nobody watched Tom Cruise when they're both on screen. Everybody's watching her. They're like, when's Tom Cruise going to be in this? Was Tom Cruise in this? I don't think he was in the beginning, and then I didn't see him. Slow clap. Yeah, you want the slow clap? Slow clap. Well, here we can throw this one here.
No, it's a question of intelligence. So your opinion has very little relevance.
My good friend Avon. Unfortunately, I had to get a new phone, so I lost my Avon case. So now I have this stupid, whatever crap it came with. Warcraft is underrated. Got that. Did you play Mad Max PC game? Yes, I think I did play it. Mad Max Odyssey, Shakespeare, struggling 800 million comes Southward, Hollywood flop free. I liked Furiosa. I know everyone hated it.
I liked Furiosa too.
Oh,
I would give it a 10 out of 10.
It's not a Mad Max movie, no. But
I just watched it Friday, so.
So what did you think, Charlie? Before we get on, I really liked it. You didn't like it? No.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. It wasn't what I wanted.
There's a lot of amazing action.
Okay, did anybody ask for it? No. Was it entertaining?
No.
Yes.
Kinda.
Did I need to know her backstory at all? No.
No.
But it had a good truck chase in it and had some
when we finally got it, when we actually saw some stuff. But what was irritating, number one, I know it's what everyone bitches about, the CG, the over CG of the movie killed me. I was like, I'm dying here. And then they would show these awesome opportunities for some action shots or battles, and it was from like 500 yards away. It would be a wide shot, and it's happening in the background, and you're like, I want to be down there watching it. I'm up here, and I don't like that. Chris Hemsworth, amazing, stole the movie. It was basically the Chris Hemsworth movie.
Yeah, it's Chris Hemsworth was awesome.
It was a little too. I thought it was a little too much of him doing shtick, but
well, that's it. I mean, he's lost his mind, so I don't mind that when I'm in that world. But not enough Furiosa, and I did not need Temu Mad Max. I was like, why is this character?
But first of all, that actor is Athos in the BBC Musketeers.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need
Tom Burke or whatever.
I don't need Mad Max in this. That's what they did. He even had the pauldron on.
I know.
That was them going, oh, we kind of have, and then Mad Max cameo in it, and I'm just like, why do I need this? I like it. I own it. I got it on 4K. I've finally had a chance. The wife and the younger kids went to Ohio. Me and Anthony stayed. Dude night pizza, Furiosa, visually awesome. Loved everything of it. I mean, it's like a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah. But it was not Fury Road. Like, not even close to being Fury Road.
Like, even that director, he's kind of old now. So
George Miller,
for him to do a movie that would be equal to Fury Road at his age and probably with less of a budget, I would rather have Furiosa than not have anything. But
I really liked Furiosa a lot. I'm probably like I can't remember what I gave it. I think I gave it an 8 or an 8.5 when I first saw it.
I think that's what you told me the first time.
I really liked it. It's a little too long. That's about it.
Yeah.
That too. It's a bit longer than it needs to be.
But it's more of the world. Hey, Angry Gamer, how's it going, dude? We just need Mel Gibson. I know, but the problem is that Mel Gibson is not coming back. They're not coming back because of whatever reasons, right?
And he's already said it when they did Fury Road. He goes, "I'm too old for this shit. I'm not coming back for it."
So the options are you make nothing and leave it as the trilogy, or you make something with a new actor. I'm totally okay with recasting certain roles if I feel like the movie is good. Like they should have recast Indiana Jones after Last Crusade, and then it could be like keep it in that late 30s, early 40s time, like 19, let's say 35 to 45, whatever, keep it there because that's where all of those pulp serials are from. You start making it into the 50s and 60s, and it's like, what was the last one called? The Dial of Destiny. Like what year was that? That was like 1970 or something, right?
It
had to be.
It was the 60s.
Yeah, it was like
69.
The moon landing was happening.
Moon landing. Okay, yeah. The Stanley Kubrick moon landing. I'm just joking. It probably wasn't Stanley Kubrick who directed Capricorn 1. No. So yeah, like because then we'd be talking about who was our favorite actor to play Indiana Jones.
Right. It's not unheard of I mean, we all grew up with James Bond. You can recast main characters when we know they're getting old and stuff like that.
And you don't kill them in their like just like Batman, they recast Batman, but Batman doesn't die like an idiot in the last movie.
Like I love Tom Hardy in Fury Road. Fury Road's a 10 out of 10 movie for me.
I also think it's 10 out of 10.
I adore that movie, and I think the problem was I got into this, and I'm not hating on the story because a lot of people are like, "There's no story in Fury Road." You're right, there's no story. Furiosa gave you a lot of story, but pulled way too far back on the action.
But dude, some of the action it is insane. Oh, we also saw it in IMAX.
It was amazing.
It's
that
like
truck's, the new war rig or old war rig, new war rig is amazing in that. Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong.
All the Hasbro play sets are great. Like they look like
that
Hasbro
is a missed opportunity that I need. Fury Road and Furiosa toy sets. That's what I need right now.
All right. So remember Circle of Iron? We haven't even started and we're already 15 minutes off topic. Okay.
Oh, you want to do 20 minutes about why Taika Waititi's terrible for Dread?
Stop.
No, I don't. No, we're not doing
Not
that.
exist when yeah.
He's not
I know
gonna.
the comic gets zany, and I know the comic gets a little weird, but not Taika Waititi. Weird.
It's not going to be Taika Waititi.
Whatever the fuck
It'll
his
go the
name
way of the
is.
Star Wars movie. Hopefully.
It's not going to. It's exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, Circle of Iron. So, do I need to? Can everyone should be able to read this very clearly?
Yep.
So this is the beginning of Circle of Iron. I actually have this on Blu-ray. I've got the. I actually had it on DVD. Actually, I had it on DVD, and I never had it on Blu-ray. So I ordered it on Blu-ray. So it's not here yet. I thought I had the Blu-ray, but I think I bought it. It was Blue Underground, so I think I bought it when maybe I either didn't have a Blu-ray player or the Blu-ray was sold out. So I just bought it on DVD just to have something of it. I had never seen this movie before. Before Blue Underground released it on DVD, I never heard of this movie before. I didn't know anything about this movie. This is one of these.
So how old were you in years when you saw this movie?
Whenever it came out on DVD.
So you were an adult, right?
Like let's say 10 years, maybe not even 10 years. We can check the release date of it. And that's the release date is, it just said Bruce Lee's whatever, Then I was like, oh shit, I got to order this because I have to have it.
Yeah.
So
you showed it to me, and
I showed it to you.
20,
so when was
24, 25 or so. So, yeah, I don't know when you got the DVD. Must have come out around that time. So
yeah, so I've known you for 24
years.
24 years, right? Oh. So for Sean is a newbie friend. I have a friend from junior kindergarten. We still we're playing D&D every month. We still yeah, and his name is Jason, and my name is Jason, and we were both chubby, and we both wore glasses in grade 2. So it was like the friggin' Wonder Twin powers or whatever.
Nice.
It doesn't work. We tried it many times.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also tried Bloody Mary and Candyman, and neither of those work either. I tried Candyman, and it never. I was like, "Oh, Candyman's gonna show up," and it was like, "Tony Todd's not coming. No one's coming. It's all bullshit." I had my tapes ready, my VHS tapes. Tony, I really like Night of the Living Dead. Sign this.
For some kids, it's like Santa Claus. When you find out Santa Claus isn't real, and
right, Candyman's not real. It's like, damn it. Okay, so prior to his death, the legend. Let me see if I can read this.
Do you want to
prior to the death of the legendary Bruce Lee? He helped to create a movie story that might capture not only the spirit of martial arts, but a part of the Zen philosophy. Is there Zen philosophy in this? Yes, there is. Yes. He lived by. He was aware that a film with these dynamics would cause controversy, particularly among those unfamiliar with Zen beliefs. But it was this very uniqueness that he believed would enthrall the moviegoer. Bruce set the story in a land that never was and always is. It's Star Wars. It is to Bruce Lee that this film is posthumously, I can never say that word, dedicated. So after his death, we're dedicating it to him. Hey, Brennan, how's it going, dude? Back from Croatia. Yes, I know your mom, my mom was showing, was getting the photos. Okay, so.
I wanted to read that with my Mako voice, but go ahead.
Oh. Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis.
Was and always is.
Yeah. So anyways, I never saw it. I watched it. I was like, this is so cool. I watched all the features. I watched everything. The actor that plays Cord, they couldn't find him. He's not on any of the features. They couldn't get him for whatever reason. They couldn't find him.
He was in Hamilton.
Yeah. I was thinking we should go. I was thinking we should do a documentary and call it Seeking the Seeker. Or something like that, and it's like we're trying to find Cord. Like we're now finding him to tell us.
I saw pictures of him, and he frankly scared me because he had tons of tattoos and stuff, and he's even hairier. And I was like, I don't know. If he's in Hamilton, there might be a problem.
Oh my god!
He just do In Search of the Hidden Cord. That's what.
So his Wikipedia page said that he just went back to his hometown and just was kind of like that guy who was always playing his guitar and just sort of living a hippie life. And he was also in the 2 Mexican Kaliman movies. Kaliman's he was sort of like their Chandu the Magician or Mandrake the Magician.
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been listening to Chandu the radio show.
Yeah, so he had this, he's a huge. Caliman's huge in Mexico, and they did some like, you know how they do these like ironically cool T-shirts, and it had a painting of Caliman's face on it. Yeah, he was in the Kaliman movies. He's like this white guy with a turban and a white body stocking suit and a cape, and he does like Hindu magic. And so he did. I think he did 2 of those, and he was on Dallas, and then he just kind of like said, "Yep, I'm done."
Hey,
Oh.
Hollywood ain't for everybody. So
Yeah, he probably did the smart thing.
David Carradine was like really into some weird shit, and he's like, "Nope, I don't want to do that," and just kind of left me on.
He found his enlightenment after, and just like went off. And it's funny because like at the time this movie was made, Death Sport was made around the same time, and I was listening recently. I was rewatching it with the audio, and like every story told about Death Sport starts off with David Carradine was smoking a lot of weed at the time.
All right, 1 second. I want to address. So just to let everybody know, we are streaming this to all platforms at the same time. So if you're watching this on my channel, I just put the links to everybody else's channels in the chat. And if you're watching this on anyone else's channel, my link is there as well. So J-Man, Decepticon, Charlie's got a podcast, Steve is from Comics Asylum, and Ross put up the Masquerado YouTube channel. So there's all the links, guys. So we would appreciate, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to everybody on the panel here. It helps us out. We're trying to get a group going here as well. Okay, so I saw the movie. Thought it was awesome. I called Sean up. I was like, Sean, we got to watch this. I got to show this to you. He drove over. We watched it together. A lot of great stars in it, which we'll kind of go through the movie a little bit. And so this is one that I discovered only because of going through, Amazon or whatever. And so, someone's like, "Oh, you bought the Bruce Lee collection. If you like this, maybe you would like this." And I was like, "Oh, David Carradine. Well, that's cool." I didn't know I forgot the guy who played Cord. We'll get his name in a minute. I forgot his name anyways, but I didn't know who he was. I saw Eli Wallach is in there as a random. Christopher Lee's name popped in there. I think Roddy McDowell's in the very first little bit, like for 5 minutes in the beginning. We've got Blade, our buddy Blade DeLongis. Yeah, I've got Blade from He-Man, and his real name is Blade.
Real name. Yep.
His real name is Blade DeLongis. I don't know if you say DeLongis or whatever, but anyways.
Is he the big black guy that he fights?
No, that guy was awesome. No, he's the guy who actually wins the tournament and is chosen to go on.
He's got the green outfit.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's Blade from He-Man, and anytime there's a sword, wherever you see a sword, you can see this effing face or whatever, right? Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
Isn't he also in Star Trek?
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's in everything. Like,
he's a fight coordinator, sword specialist, and like a fill-in for a lot of acting and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so Sean, I watched it, then you watched it with me. What did you think of it when you saw it?
I thought it was pretty neat because obviously I saw a lot of the philosophy in it, and things that stand out because I hadn't seen it since, so I watched it again this past week. But before I did, before I refamiliarized myself with it, the things that popped out to me was Eli Wallach in the pot. That's craziness. The whole mirror thing, that was neat. At the end, the big revelation.
Sean, tell him why he was in the pot.
We're not.
His penis, basically. Get rid of sexual thoughts, so he could be more one with the universe. Mm-hmm. I get it. I get what they're trying to do there, but that's the thing. It's so out there that it sticks in your mind, and it's like the idea sticks in your mind. Like that's really, the script is pretty good at doing that. I've forgotten all the stuff about the 3 different things that Carradine does when they cross with the boat and everything. He destroys the boat, and he hides from the guys, and then he slaps that one kid.
Oh, that was awesome!
Oh my!
You could just tell that kid was irritating.
And he's like mega raspberry sauce all over. I thought it was interesting in that it's not supposed to be action. It's supposed to impart things to think about and chew on, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really neat. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool movie. Every so often I'm like, what was that movie J-Man showed me, Circle of Fire? And then you mentioned it and you're gonna do it. I was like, oh cool, let's talk about it again. I'll watch it again and see how annoyed I am by it. But no, it's really neat, and it's funny because I don't think anybody talks about this film.
No.
I'll say this, like David Carradine, like I don't know how fandom is going to embrace him in future. I guess they will. It's like David Carradine got by on being typecast as the martial arts guy, and you know shit. Like he I think he's more of a dancer. I think he's more of a dancer, right? They shot Kung Fu: The Legend Continues in Toronto. And if you lived in the Greater Toronto area, you heard of all of his antics here. It's like, he's drunk all the time. He created havoc where he kicked a hole in the wall of the Sky Dome. Like there's because there's like glass walls around the side, and like he kicked one of the glass walls to escape from fans or something like that. But he had to pay for it. So anyway,
So who was worse,
neat
David
here.
Carradine or Christina Ricci?
Oh my God! Stop it.
All right, I'm not going to do my Christina Ricci thing again, but but no, he's really cool here. It's like I guess that was going to be what Bruce Lee was going to do. He's going to play all those roles.
Yeah. So it was going to be called the
cool.
Silent
And that would have been
Flute.
a good stretch for him. Like show more range for Bruce Lee. So it's a shame that didn't happen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's supposed. Yeah, so the Silent Flute, I believe, is what they may have made posters. So I have the original poster for this. I think it's a folded poster because it's from that time. Yeah, 78. It's a folded poster. So I do have the original one sheet poster for this, which I seeked out after seeing the movie. I collect vintage posters, originals, not reprints. So I was able to get a poster of that. I've got this poster, which is pretty awesome, really. I don't see that one pop up too often on like eBay or something like that. So I'm pretty proud of that one. Before I get to Charlie, I read these couple of quick Zen things in the beginning here. Tie two birds together. Even though they have four wings, they cannot fly. The blind man, who is going to be Bruce Lee. And then there's another one. I'll see if I can, I don't know if I'll see it. Maybe I can chapter to it. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
A horse has no udders, and a cow can't whinny and up, and up is down and sideways is straight ahead. The chord, the secrets, like that's just him just saying whatever. So like, you've got the philosophy going on in here.
But that's him making fun of the blind man.
That's him making fun of it. Yeah.
Like downers up and whatever. Right? Yeah.
He was just saying random stuff just to.
Yeah.
Trying to see if I can get each name.
So Maverick is asking, is this like Mortal Kombat? No.
Yeah. So I was kind of addressing that.
The opening scene, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
One
but
other
is it
scene
anywhere on the level. I mean, on the martial arts, as we were talking about, the martial arts are nowhere on the level of any.
No.
Even the worst fight in the Mortal Kombat movie is better. Than that.
But there is a very, very important thing that happens in this movie that is video game related. We'll get to that.
Go ahead, Charlie. Well, Charlie. So Charlie. Was I your introduction to this? Yep.
Dude, you brought this up one random stream. I don't even remember what it was about whether we had even seen it or heard of it. I'd never heard of this movie. Never seen the poster. Had no clue this was another David Carradine movie or that Bruce Lee was tied to it. Literally watched it today. First time ever.
Awesome.
Sat down and watched it.
Do you do one of these like thumbnails like, oh, and then like first time watching,
that's what I'll do on the thing that I'm linked here. So when you see my stream, I'll be like one of those annoying fucking YouTubers and do that shit.
Who have not seen any movie, first time watching any film.
Yeah. I've never heard Van Halen before in my life.
Yeah, I hate that. How is that possible?
There's no way it's possible. They're in commercials. They're
right. That's
As soon as I see it, you're lying. Okay, so I'm not buying anything unless you're like 5. I'm not buying it.
Right.
So no, this was a first time watch for me. Sons of bitches, there they come. Here comes the Carradine jokes. I don't know who said it here a second ago, but you're dead on that this is not an action movie. It's not really a showcase of martial arts. This is a spiritual journey that, and I can 100% tell this is a passion project that Bruce Lee was working on.
Right.
Like I see it there. Thankfully, they didn't change it all that much. I'm hoping from the way he, envisioned it to come out. This movie caught me off guard. Being that it was my first time watch, I can tell you right now, I want to watch this again and really pay attention to it. Like really go, okay, it's philosophical. I really need to watch this with a different eye than me just sitting here going, okay, when do I get to the next fight? When do I get, but so back to the Mortal Kombat thing I was saying. So the opening scene is very Mortal Kombat-esque. You got two fighters for, this medallion. But there's another thing that video games have taken from Circle of Iron I caught is the final fight with the guy that runs the bazaar, the monkey man, Death, when Cord is fighting him and all of the other versions of the bad guy pop up. That's when you're fighting Shang Tsung and he can morph into every other baddie. And, when he turns into Goro, when he turns into whoever else, I was like, that's a video game thing. Yeah, that's this. And honestly, I've not seen it before that, as far as when this movie came out. So super psyched about it. Also love that this movie ends basically like Kung Fu Panda does. It's the scroll and there's nothing there, but if you realize it's reflective,
right?
So it was always you. It was always you, Poe.
I've never seen Kung Fu Panda. Yeah,
they definitely. I like Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda is amazing, sir.
It's like those are good movies. I've seen like the first three. I think they're all pretty good.
I've seen up through 3, and I enjoy them a lot. Also, the little mustache Carradine has as the Bazaar leader is the Fei Long, or was that his name? And that's the tiger. He has the exact same. It's almost like Cord, Poe, and Fei Long are morphed into this one character that are the same, so it's wild. And that's why I'm like, I need to sit down and watch this movie more. Like, I really want to absorb it in a few more watchings. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I'll be 100% honest. This was, it definitely is not a martial arts movie. There's moments I thought I was watching there's moments I'm watching a martial arts movie. There's a whole thing where I thought, well, man, they just stole all of Conan's costume department at the end of the movie.
Totally.
And it's wild, and it really, really makes you think. It just sucks. I just watched it 20 minutes ago, and I haven't had a day to even think about this. I'm kicking myself for not watching it last night. And that's the flute that he plays in Kill Bill 2. They brought it back in that one.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I was going to say, yeah, Tarantino, obviously the Kung Fu Panda people, they've all seen this because there's no way, right? Like, right?
There's no.
And especially Tarantino, who we know, and obviously in the Kill Bill movies, he puts the Shaw Brothers logo. As soon as Sean and we saw that together, and as soon as he put the Shaw Brothers, I was like, oh my God. And then he's got all your boys in it. Yeah. He's got Sonny Chiba. He's got what's his face?
Gordon Liu is two
role.
Yep.
Right. He's got all the Hattori Hanzo. He's got all that in there. They're watching Shogun Assassin. They're watching Lone Wolf and Cub at the end.
They're watching all the classics. There's even the opening music of this. There is a section of it. I'm like, that's fucking Tarantino's used that. Like I heard it and immediately went, oh, I know this. For a moment, I'm like, have I seen this? No, I have just seen everything else that was influenced by a movie I've never heard of.
Yeah. And Game of Death, she's wearing the Game of Death outfit pretty much, or very close to it. Lady Snowblood, clearly, right?
Yeah,
like all of those.
All the obvious ones, but to get down into the, like this movie, I watch it going, oh, I see where they've taken little pieces here and there, and just morphed it into these things. And again, never even heard about this movie until J-Man brought it up. So I'm glad I got this. I'm going to recommend it to people. I'm going to watch it more. It's on Tubi too, which is in high def. So that was awesome. Yeah. Cool. So
so far I've got 2 for 2 with Charlie. I got Space Hunter and Circle of Iron Man. But
you're killing it with that.
I'm killing it, man. Like you can't.
Space Hunter's still fucking amazing. Everyone.
Space Hunter's like
you've never seen that. That's quite one of the greatest movies ever made. Dude, I don't care what anyone says.
I saw Space Hunter the same day I saw Return of the Jedi.
Wow, that's like now Cisco and Ebert made fun of Space Hunter in their review for it, but I'll forgive them.
I know
All right,
a movie's good when Siskel and Ebert says it sucks. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
well, it
how I
depends.
go off of what they're doing.
but they both love Thunderdome, so we can discuss that on Wednesday.
That's Wednesday.
But they also loved Road Warriors. So, all right. So, Steve, had you seen this before, or did
No.
I introduce you to this one? This
You
is
introduced this to me, and to be honest with you, I was like, what, this morning's years old when I saw it? So I'm like Charlie, where I had no idea about this movie at all. And then when I heard that Carradine's in it, I'm like, okay, I got to check this out. And then looking at the timing, it's almost like he's replaced Bruce Lee twice.
Yes.
Yes.
When you think about it, because for Kung Fu, because of
Yep.
just the way things were back then, Bruce could have starred in his own vehicle.
Mhm.
And then because he passed, now you've got Carradine, which I guess when you think about it, it's a logical kind of way to fill the role.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I did not know what to expect, because you said it's a martial arts film, so I'm expecting some action. And what this movie is, it's really a deep cut. This is
Yeah.
like a B-side on a classic album that you've, and like it's like track 8 on the whole thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, nailed it. Yes.
But when you think about it, it's the kind of film that if you take a rap kind of parlance to it, it uses the bass line for tons of movies that come after it, or tons of
Right.
songs. So like you said with Kung Fu Panda and Kill Bill, there are all these little Easter eggs or influences that are in this flick. And like, it's almost like you have to switch your mind for what your expectations are when you're watching this, because like the Kung Fu's, like the fight choreography is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fighting's not
Just
really
guys going like this close up
Yeah.
to them, kind of doing this.
It's almost like Bob Fosse jazz hands, but really slow sometimes. And we know
I like
Carradine
it.
can't kick over his knee, right? So
Right.
he's almost in Steven Seagal territory, even though he's younger,
Right.
right? But when you think about this film, and Charlie,
Love
I'm
it.
with you 100% on this. This is a second and third watch kind of film,
100%.
because it's like, what did I miss? And then when you think about like how zen it is, and you know, looking within yourself to find the things that you're actually searching for, it makes so much sense. And it's a great watch. And it's kind of like, okay, I know where this is going. Okay, I know, because Carradine looks exactly the same no matter what makeup they give him. You're like, okay, I know where this is going. But they're also like these little kind of like almost like in jokes. Like you have Roddy McDowell in it.
Yeah.
He's not part of like the Monkey Man clan.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that would have been a perfect kind of like in joke kind of. And having Christopher Lee is kind of like the end boss, and he's played Dracula and all that kind of stuff.
I love that.
Scaramanga,
Yeah.
right? He's Scaramanga at the
Yeah.
end. And
See,
and in the end,
they-
he's still
they
a
didn't
gentleman.
They
Right.
didn't make movies meta like that back then. It was kind of like, who's cheap and a name we know.
Right.
That's fair. You're not wrong
Yes.
about
And
that
can
one.
they
You're not
appear in
wrong,
like
right?
one scene? And it's like that was all the thinking that went into that.
Exactly. Who can we get? Who's available? Right?
Right.
We're shooting next week. Let's grab them.
Yeah. Nobody
But-
knows Jeff Cooper. Who else can we get? And
For
put
sure.
him in one
for
scene.
sure. But I can't lie. When I first was watching this, I was like, J-Man, this is like, I'm watching like Beastmaster meets Red Sonja.
Yeah. Oh, I love both those movies.
Yeah.
And some dude who looks like he could be in the Warriors and play for the Eagles is the lead.
Yeah.
I love the Warriors. That's like a top 20 favorite.
There's a very short line from this movie to from your to this movie too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 But I liked it. Like the more I was watching, I'm like, okay, I get it. And I think the only character I'm like, and you everyone can chime in if I've missed it. I think Tara got shortchanged the most in this film.
I tend to agree with you, because, and I think it's the hard cut to what happened. You're like, what did I miss? There's a lot. So on the editing of this movie, that's where I think it struggles.
100.
Is there feels like, number one, this movie feels like there's an entire movie before it we should have watched, because he talks about this journey he's been on. Oh, I was told about what's on my hand. You're like, should I watch something else beforehand? But yeah, it was a lot of hard cuts and and I think a lot of that was due to filming. Well, I also read that they the fights were even more lackluster, and they had to go back in. But let me tell you something. We may be saying the fights are lackluster. My dude roundhouse kicks a horse
Yeah, that was badass.
True.
But he
Whoa.
doesn't get his foot above his own waist. So the horse's head is down, but he roundhouse kicks a horse. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm with you guys. I'm digging this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Bollywood move there for sure.
He totally was.
Unfortunately,
Eli
they still
Wallach-
used tripwires for those movies back then, so I don't know
Right.
how many horses gave their lives for this one, but
It wasn't very many. I don't think so. So there's
Not
not a
like
lot of
Conan.
horseplay in this. No, not like Conan.
No, no one got hurt. None of the horses got hurt in Conan. Anyways.
Just one camel.
But Eli Wallach scene, I swear, it was written by Mel Brooks. Like what the hell is going on here?
he played it like Mel Brooks.
Oh, it was
100%.
And then I had to do some reading afterwards because I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? And apparently, it was more violent in original Inception, and they added comedy after. So I don't know if those were studio notes or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
But it would have been interesting to see if they'd kept that full tone going through.
I think
So
I would have preferred
here's
Go ahead, Ross. Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Here's the thing that I've never explored, and I can ask J-Man about it too. I've got the DVD as well, and it comes with a PDF of the original script, like the Bruce Lee script.
Yes, I should.
I've never printed it out to read it.
Why don't I put that?
differently.
I will put that on.
Put that in the drive.
I'll put that on the drive. Let me make a note to myself to put that on the drive.
Because
I don't have it. I won't have it on this computer, unfortunately, because this is my new computer. So we want PDF script. I'll get it for you guys.
Yeah.
I have a drive. I could extract it.
Talking that was supposed to be. This is kind of leaning more towards serious. I would love to see like the guy in the oil taking that serious.
Yeah.
Not making it a joke.
Yeah.
Where he has actually dedicated his life to this. Like, give it some kind of weird, messed up backstory of why he's decided he's had to do that. Like, he did something really, really bad, and this is his penance.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that there's so many ways you go. I'd never hardly ever say this. I'd love to see this remade. I'd love to see
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, to take, but you don't lose the philosophy behind it, but just kind of sharpen the edges a little bit here and there.
Hey, Joe Dog. Hey, Joe Dog.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Like, so this is one of my gifts / could be a negative point is that whatever I'm watching, I can transform myself into the perfect audience for the movie I'm watching, which is why when I don't like something, it's a pretty bad fail because I want to love everything. So I'm watching something. Yeah, this was awesome. Like I understood everything that's going, and then when I watched it more critically. I've seen it a few times, but I did rewatch it myself again just to have confidence and take notes. So I watched it again. I was like, looking at it, it's like, yeah, the fights are not very good. I mean, production's as good as it could be. It's almost like they're like, we have this Bruce Lee project. We want to make it because there's something there, but Bruce Lee is not here to guide us. And we can't do exactly what he wanted because we don't think that will sell by making it serious and super philosophy. So why don't we have a more generic style to it, have the philosophy, have some of the fights, but we didn't really get any fighters. It's like, okay, so I get it. They want to have actors to sell this, but they don't have fighters, and there's no Van Damme or or whatever. Like you'd be like Scott Atkins would be Cord or something, right? If you were doing it as a right. So the fights would be absolutely killer, and you'd see Cord destroy this guy, and it's like, well, how did I lose? Well, you lost because you kept attacking after he was down. It's like, okay, but like here, it's like, well, none of these guys are really that like Bruce Lee in real life would destroy this entire cast all at once. like every fighter in this movie could attack him and he'd beat them all. Yeah.
So if you were going to remake it now, which would you cast Keanu Reeves as Cord or as the blind guy?
Not neither, because he has a certain thing with them. I like Keanu Reeves though. That's not a strike.
Right, you put him in the Christopher Reeve role. You put him as the divine one at the end. That might be neat. But the beauty of this was Bruce Lee was never even thinking about making himself Cord. He was the blind man. He was going to be the four visages of
the demon thing and the monkey
whatever
guy,
the monkey and
the monkey. I still can't remember the Chazar, whatever his name was.
Chang's. I wrote it down.
Yeah,
Chang
Chang Sha.
Chang Style. I like that character. That to me, that was the most David Carradine, aside from the blind man, because I mean, the blind was basically Kung Fu David Carradine.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like that other version. He's jovial, laughing, kind of talking in riddles.
And not the same chord. Yeah, I like that.
I
not the
love
same
all
chord,
that.
yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
fantastic. It was, there's some smart writing here. There's some thought and heart put behind it. But I think you're right. Studio, way too much involved, not enough budget. And it was more or less, I think this was also David Carradine because he bought the rights. I want to get this out because it belonged to Bruce Lee and I can put Bruce Lee's name on it. So it's automatically going to sell regardless. So there's a lot of diva type stuff from David Carradine with this as well.
Well,
I like this cat. He looks awesome.
Jeff Cooper's badass.
Yeah.
There's times I thought it was Michael Ironside, but he was ripped because he's got Michael Ironside's laugh. If you shave that head, that's Michael Ironside right there.
They should do Scanners meets Circle of Iron. It's like
that would be insane. Well,
I think this was like Bruce Lee even going to Hong Kong and making the movies that made him famous. So like it would like a fantasy movie like this would have been a tough sell, and then like a Zen fantasy movie would have been a tough sell, and then Bruce Lee being in it would have been a tough sell prior to him being famous for
before
all
getting
those other
big
movies.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating to see it like as the movie that could have been, but what possibly could have been, but on the same time it was just kind of like what we got. Well, it's not my turn.
It is Steve. I think Steve, you're done.
No, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Go.
Are you done? Other Steven?
Yeah,
he's done. And I've got a new one for. I got a new one for you, Ross. Hold on. Where's my new one?
Okay.
So if it's getting like horrendously off topic and you're talking about like Zorro or something, I got.
Do you have a Grandpa Simpson talking about?
No, I've got something better.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was using Nikita last time, but I'm not using Nikita now.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw this movie in the theater when it first.
Shocker! Oh my god! Oh my.
So I was like 12 years old when it came. Yeah. No. Well, my mom loved movies and would just like take us to see like almost if it was at the $1 bargain matinee, or we'd go see it. So
right.
I think I saw it twice in the theater when it came out.
That's cool.
And like we loved it. My mom and I both loved it. I didn't realize the guy was so ripped. Maybe that's why she liked it.
Yeah.
We know why Mom liked this movie.
We can go see that one again, son. Why don't we go see it again?
You take whatever you can get as you get it, because like we would go see the Conan live show at Universal Studios because the guys who played Conan were totally ripped.
Right.
Ex-Chip and Dale dancers, probably.
Yeah. So, but I love this movie. Like, so it's 1978. There's like you said, there's no Van Damme. There's no American martial arts movies to speak of, except for some really low budget Roger Corman things, like the Kill and Kill Again type movies. Or
when did Billy Jack come out?
Because Born Loser, earlier 70s, yeah, and
that was the closest you would have had to anything. Well, or did you have anything? Because this guy Jeff Cooper's in Born Losers. I just was looking at his IMDb, which is pretty cool. We'll do those. We'll at least do Born Loser. Oh, relax, Sean. Hold on a second. I didn't finish talking. Let me finish. We're gonna do Born Losers and Billy Jack, and then we'll forget about the other two, even though they're still kind of cool. But we'll pretend they're not.
Trial of Billy Jack is like 3 hours. So
yeah, we're definitely not gonna do the Trial of Billy Jack. They should have really that trial. If it was a real trial, it would have been shorter than.
To be fair, I think Good Guys Wear Black might have come out around this time.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, you might be right.
So, and that was kind of like it. There was no real American-made martial arts movies, and if you were lucky and you lived in the neighborhood that had like an Asian movie theater, you might be able to see some of the Shaw Brothers movies. But those were relegated to like afternoon TV on the weekends, and and then episodes of Kung Fu, the TV series. So
Right.
my which like the ultimate dad and grandpa show. Like my dad watched Kung Fu, and my mother's father, grandpa, watched Kung Fu. So that was like there was no getting
Yeah.
away from David Carradine playing
Same year, Russ. Same year, 78. Good guys,
Okay,
they're
yeah.
blessed.
So
There you go.
and did I
Okay,
see that?
so you got something there.
Yeah. So did I see that in the
But
theater?
there's not a lot. So remember too, like we're judging this now after we've seen 4 trillion martial arts movies, and some of us we're in martial arts, right? So like
Yeah.
Right.
now we're saying, well, the fights weren't that good. It's like, yeah, but remember, like
We're baptized in
So-
it, not here
Yeah.
it is in
You're
front of an
12
entire
years-
audience.
Yeah, you're 12 years old. There's like no martial arts movies to like. I mean, your life is kind of short, so you haven't seen like every movie ever made either.
right.
And they haven't made most of the movies that we would be comparing this to yet. So, and that's just the martial arts side of it. Conan the Barbarian hasn't been made yet either, and so it's
Sure.
still like 4 years away or something
Mhm.
like that. And then so it's just like other, and not even the Conan ripoffs have come out yet. No, there's no Deathstalkers. There's no Beastmaster.
Oh, you said it. Sorry, dude.
What?
You said Dead Stalker.
That's not.
I'll have my revenge, and Deathstalker too.
Yeah.
Anyone who says Death Stalker, I gotta play Death Stalker.
Yep.
too.
It's like,
That's
just
the
like the
rule.
Pee-wee's Playhouse word of the day.
Word of the
is
day. Yeah.
That's how
Always
this works.
Deathstalker.
Yep.
Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so you can't compare it to. There's literally nothing else to compare it to. It's like a completely unique movie. And it's sexy. It's got sex. It's got violence. So you're 12 years old, and it's like the greatest movie ever made. And then the spiritual message to it as well, which to me, so there's elements of that I think are a little bit wonky. That could be the studio thing. It could, because James Coburn, who I guess was Bruce Lee's student, was
Mhm.
involved with the development of the story. And then a guy named Sterling Silliphant, who was also a famous screenwriter at this time, he's the one who probably just did most of the typing as far as he was like a really well-known screenwriter at the time, and I think that's kind of why it has that sort of 70s vibe to it. But anyway, I freaking loved this movie as a kid. I saw it twice when they announced that they were going to come out with the Blu-ray or the DVD of it. I was like there the week the DVD came out. I was like, nothing's stopping me from buying this movie. I watched it again when it came out on DVD. Loved it all over again. Watched all the extras. Watched all the other, except for the PDF, because it was kind of a pain in the ass to access it on my computer. And then, so when you said you were going to do it, I was like, all right. So I watched it again, even though I'd already seen enough, quote, enough times. I watched it again just for fun, and I loved it so much. And I read some reviews. There was some reviews, and I was kind of like, it's like a lot of these other movies I've been watching with you guys, where it's like, okay, I do see now that the martial arts are pretty terrible. And I do see now that the spiritual message is presented in kind of a wonky way. The part that I thought was the weirdest was the what happens to the girl, like his vow of chastity, and then he meets another guy who's got a vow of chastity, but he's taking it like to the extreme, and it's played for laughs because that's what Hollywood would have done in the 70s. Any kind of sex joke you could squeeze in there, they're going to go for it. And then, like, she's the one who gets killed, and they kind of hand wave it away, like, "Oh, well, that was a lesson, not a trial." And it's like, oh, okay, I don't see what the moral to that story, to that part of the story was. But
is she okay? Is she even real? Like,
Right.
That's the thing, how
like
much
the
of all
thing
that was real.
is the thing about the thing about this movie is that what is actually happening and what is not actually happening. Like, what, I don't want to say it's like the holodeck, but like think of it like that. Like, is this like, is some parts, like, is Eli Wallach actually there?
Right.
Like, is he even really a physical person there? Because
I think so. I think in this land, everything is real to everybody there because it's like everybody's going on their own little spiritual voyage, and yeah, I think it's real. But it's possible. I mean, she might not have been a dream. She might have just been like an actress in this play that has been set up to.
She might be
reach
not
these
dead
people.
either. So, Steve, you're going to say
Yeah,
something?
Yeah,
she
but
might.
not to
Yeah.
interrupt, but one thing that did pop into my head is when he first showed up before he met her,
Mm-hmm.
he took a drink out of a wineskin.
Yep.
Oh,
And I'm like, was he drugged that entire time?
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So yeah, so but whatever the moral was that they were trying to impart with that part of the story, I'm still a little shaky what that might have been, and that could have been like, well, it's an exploitation movie from the '70s, so this was an excuse to have like a romance scene and a sexy girl, and
It could
Well,
be a bit
do
of
that.
both. It's
Yeah.
more about his resolve, where he, made that vow of chastity and then he breaks it. But this is where like Bruce Lee philosophy is going to get real weird. It's like, is it really that bad if you break that vow? Who is that vow actually to? Is it to yourself? Is it to, some god that you're worshiping? Be true to yourself, which is kind of what the whole process of the movie is being true.
So I got that, and I agree with you on
Yeah.
that. But she's the one who gets like killed. She gets crucified and
She gets-
punished.
That's
she gets the
if
extreme
real.
punishment for it,
Right.
and he gets nothing. He just walks away.
But he
But
wakes
remember
up in
too-
the desert and there's nothing around him. So that's where it comes into, was that a dream? Was it a hallucination on his own end?
Right.
Because there's the way they filmed it, there's nothing around him. No
Right.
way there was a camp there, no footprints, no anything.
Right.
And she's not bloodied. She's not decapitated. She's not on fire. She's hanging from the crucifix, the X.
Yeah.
And you're like,
but again, like,
But hold on a second.
what
But hold
was
on.
that supposed to mean? What was that?
I know, but we're forgetting another thing too. Everyone is on a journey. And people die on their journeys.
Mhm.
Maybe she was on a journey, and their journeys connected.
it
And
could be.
in her doing it, that was her failure, and perhaps that was her ending because she failed in her journey. Again, it could be all fake too. Nothing's really explained.
No.
So this is the thing about this movie. See, this is the thing. It's like, yeah, there's the technical things that we're talking. Oh, the martial arts could be better, and da-da-da. Yeah, but look at all the discussion. We've never even had this kind of discussion at all on any of these movies that we've ever watched on this show. And we're already saying, and we've got a couple of guys, we got a seasoned guy, Ross, seen it a bunch of times, saw it in the theaters. Sean and I have seen it. We've seen it a few times over the past 20 so years, and two guys who just watched it. So we have all these perspectives now trying to figure this thing out. There's not really.
And that's why I love doing this, because like hearing you guys seeing it for the first time and your opinions on it, I'm loving all of that, and it's like, because I love the movie so much too. It's like, and you're. Even though most of my friends are like about my age and about half of them have seen this, I know maybe a quarter of them have seen it in the theater when it came out, and we all kind of like it. Everybody to some degree likes it,
right?
But like to hear you guys speak with this kind of enthusiasm, which kind of matches.
Oh, I honestly cannot wait to watch this again. Like,
let me pose this question. Hold on. Let me pose it right here, right on this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Anthony DeLongis, Blade is killed here on the first trial during the monkey battle. Mm-hmm. What in the hell has happened to this guy? Like the monkey, like, it would not be causing this damage. Like, this guy comes out and it looks like it's Freddy Krueger, right? Like he's just been, or perhaps it's like he's been through a Mortal Kombat, like he'd been scorpioned or what, like scorpion speared. Mm-hmm. This is not the result of what would have happened if Cord had lost. Like, was this the same trial or was this a different trial? Because they say there's other people doing other trials all around. Mm-hmm. So is everyone's 3 trials totally different? See, you've got a trial of fighting, which is the monkey, but then you have a trial of yourself, which is, in Cord's case, it was the chastity. Mm-hmm. What would Anthony DeLongis's trial had been in the second one, right? Like, what the hell happened here? Because I'm watching. The thing is, when I first watch these, I watch it for fun, but when I watch it for a stream, I take notes and I'm look. So I'm like, what the hell happened here? Like, what happened to this guy? Like, this is not.
It doesn't matter because it's not his journey.
Exactly.
This is Cord's journey. Focus on Cord.
There's that. I think the problem is you've got two issues that are fighting us here. We want to believe that there was a huge amount of philosophy put into this and thought. Number two is he really did face the monkeys, and that's what you would think an attack of monkeys would look like on someone, very raw, visceral, tear him up. They just couldn't film that. So it's dumbed down a little bit for when he fights it.
Right.
But you're touching on something that was my absolute favorite thing in watching this movie was when he talks to the monkey guy and he defeats him. You're as someone who's watched martial art movies, played video games, I'm like, has no one ever got to the second part? You're the first one to beat him. So the guy that is in part 2 is old and done forgot how to fight. No, they add that little bit. Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone is facing different trials. And I'm like, well, you just solved a huge, what I would have called a
hole or whatever
in the story. You fixed it just in that little bit of dialogue. And now what J-Man's doing now, he's adding more to it of going, well, maybe that's not his. The other thing is you have to think about this sect of people are only in search of a book of knowledge. And they think the only way to get there is through fighting. So that's what DeLongis is doing. DeLongis is there to fight. He got his ass kicked because that was his only thing. Cord already questions everything.
Yeah, exactly. His style is way different.
So his style is off. He's like, now he's quick to fight, but he's also talking, asking questions, and gaining knowledge throughout the journey. And that's what you start realizing no one else was doing. DeLongis broke his vow of silence.
Exactly.
Yes.
That exact second, because you can follow
they were trapped by their school, whatever school or group that they were part of.
Right.
And he
and also to your point, Charlie, he's told how to defeat the monkey.
Yes.
But that's through questioning. Yeah.
But he's also told about the chastity by Eli Wallach. So before every challenge, he's given the information that he's going to need. Yes. So he said, join me here. See, Cord has already joined him. Cord is already in the oil. He's just not physically removing like his genitals. He's vowed to just not use them.
Well, it's another thing. If you think anointing by the oil, that's another thing to go off of with that.
Well, for sure. So you see, because Cord is observing and questioning everything. Even when he loses the tournament, he's questioning, why did I lose? This doesn't make any sense.
That right there.
Right? Like, see, right away, it's like, this guy's like, okay, this guy's going to pass. And all of those guys, because we see at the end, there's a bunch of guys that pass because they're also walking around there, right? And it's like, there's a lot of little things going on. I just thought of the next movie we're going to do is going to be Zardoz. Because
another man in a G-string movie.
No, because that I've read the novelization of that too, and I love Zardoz, and that is a very have you seen Zardoz? Who's seen it?
Dude, it's been like 30 years since I've seen Zardoz.
Have you seen it, Steve?
Not in the theater.
It's on. Oh, bastard!
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do Zardoz, and I'll get a date for us for all. We all have to be here for Zardoz because I promise you.
You know what? I just realized too. I might have to go to Comic-Con instead of be here for Brave Star. So let me.
Well, Brave Star is not like, I mean, whatever. It's you got to be here for Zardoz. Okay. Yeah. For sure, because that's like one of my faves. And I'm going to send all of you my little paper craft Godhead, and you can all print it out.
Yep.
Yeah, you can print it out and form it. Anyways,
can we all wear that Borat swimsuit thing for the stream?
No, we're not wearing that. Anyways, but yeah,
get a gold 6-shooter. That's what I'll get.
See, because he questions everything. He's like a pretty good seeker. So let's move on a little bit in the story. So here's where he sees, there's another guy here with a 3-section staff, which is like the greatest weapon ever.
Yeah. And I thought that monkey makeup was cool. Now when I saw this movie in the theater back in the day, it's like all these other movies we've seen. It never looked this clear. So the monkey makeup didn't look as fake. Anything you saw in the movie, the glued on mustache and all that stuff, anything you thought looked fake when you saw it on this perfect, beautiful resolution version of it, it looked fine in the movie theater. And also, to build on something I threw out earlier, this movie, even though it's not technically a Roger Corman movie, it's an exploitation. It was so cheap. It was like $1 million, which for a theatrical film back then was
it's
pretty
nothing.
cheap.
Yeah.
So it's following exploitation movie rules. So like every 10 minutes, it's been 10 minutes, we got to have a fight. Whether that parts the lesson or not. It's been 10 minutes, we got to have a pair of boobs. It's been 10 minutes, we got to do, we got to give you something.
That's the studio influence you can definitely see in this movie.
Right, right. So,
okay, so it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, Yay!
Pale light. Yeah.
Those rules still apply to this day?
They apply to the stream as well. We have to follow the rule, the Corman rules here. Yeah.
I like that the monkey men though with the makeup. I never took it as they were trying to really look like monkeys. Yeah. Because it doesn't. This feels otherworldly. Mm-hmm. It just felt like a tribe of kind of deformed guys, or I would have even believed just guys that wanted to dress up as monkeys, and live their life that way. I mean, I'll be 100% honest. Didn't realize that was David Carradine for the first half till he really starts talking, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's David Carradine. Then I went on IMDb and went, oh, he's playing like 4 roles in this movie. Okay, I'm
so
here.
That's his guy. So I'm assuming. Well, they say it at the end, every guy who leaves the island after they're enlightened or whatever, they become guides for other people going on this journey. So David Carradine is going to be Cord's guide. And it's, once you know it's David, this is the repeat pattern. As soon as you see, that's David Carradine. Okay, I get it. He'll be each.
It clicked as soon as it happened. Because he went from blind guy to the monkey guy. And I'm like, because it's obvious whenever he's the guy at the bazaar, you're like, oh, that's David Carradine. But knowing that he's also deaf too,
He's also
it was harder to tell in the theater back then too.
I believe that. Honestly, it took me a second.
He played the Chang guy,
Shala, whatever it is.
Shang Sha. Shang Sha.
Yeah, but like this monkey and the panther thing, it was like it didn't even occur that it would be that. And there was no historical thing. There was no like, you look at the DVD and it's telling you like, he plays 4 guys. It tells you right there on the box. We walked into the theater and it was just kind of like, what? There's a monkey, there's a panther, and now it just seemed like a dual role, not a triple role.
Right.
Yeah. So he goes through this trial here, and he says you expose the coward, right? If you
you face him.
You face them,
turn your back on them. You have to face them. Look at them. Yeah. Look at I swear to God, that's Michael Ironside in a wig.
Yeah, it does look a little bit like Michael Ironside. Yeah.
I'm so glad we got the movie up because I was going to make that reference going, if we don't show this picture, I'm going to be pissed because I swear to God, I'm not the only one seeing this.
No, I like doing it this way better. This is going to be what I'm going to try to do from now on.
I like this way. That way it reminds us of certain scenes too. That maybe we,
especially for those, I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this haven't seen the movie itself. So
I'm pretty sure. I did put a poll up though. Hold on a second. Now the poll is only going to be on my channel, guys. So just keep that in mind. You won't see it on yours, but my channel's got 6 votes. Somebody gave it a 5 out of 5. 50% have given it a 4 out of 5. 33% have given it a 3 out of 5. So that's pretty good.
How many people are watching? Can you tell?
Yeah, there's 12 people watching. There's Sean's got 2 people watching. I've got 5 people. Charlie has 1. Masquerado has, so you have 1, and Comics Asylum has 4 people watching.
Oh, wow.
So I can tell who's watching. This is much cooler. If we do this on we can't have everybody on like the Fridays, but when I do like Avengers, I have just 25 people, just me. So imagine if we had everybody going at this, but we can't have Avengers is super. Ross, you're never invited to Avengers. It's like it's like super on topic. We sometimes stray a little bit. But like, so Ross is never gonna be on.
Maybe I just don't want to read Avengers comics.
Sure, tell yourself that's fine.
we love you, Ross. Don't take it.
No. We want you on the movies because you're the guy who saw it in the theater. right?
Well, yeah. Well, plus I don't. I didn't really read Avengers comics. That's
Right.
fine.
So
that's fair.
there you go.
But Action Elite, man, if you want to make those into like 6-hour streams,
No, Owen.
Owen would die.
Owen would die.
Literally die.
Yeah. So nobody else
who here has seen all the Action Elite movies in the theater?
Yeah.
John. We have our Ross on Action Elite. We have John.
Yeah, sorry, Ross. We've got a John. Yeah, we've got a John.
Okay, I'll just watch them on my own.
If we go to 90 minutes, Owen starts to get very nervous. It's visibly, you could visibly see it. He's like, he likes 60 to 90 minutes. 90 minutes, like 90 minutes. If we still have points, he's like, I think we're good. Like, you don't need to make
he hears J-Man's Power Ranger ringtone. He's like, okay, we got to wrap this up right now.
Yeah, that's my 9:30. That's my 9:30 heart attack meds.
8:00, 9:30. That's
yeah.
that magic window.
It's not. Yeah.
You want to talk about Circle of Iron for 4 hours?
We can talk about
movies. I'm here for it.
All right. So this guy reminded me of Wolf Larson a little bit too. From you know him from Expect No Mercy, Charlie, but he was also Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Yeah, he was Tarzan.
I get that.
This was one of those ones where, like, I remember really liking that guy when I saw it as a kid, and then I read the reviews, and they were kind of like the criticisms were the martial arts, the directing, and then like his performance, and I was like, I don't remember him being that bad. So when I watched it after reading the reviews, I watched it just 2 days ago, and I was like, yeah, I get that he's not a great martial artist, and I get he's not a great actor. There's some people that just like, I don't know what it is. His presence, his smile,
I liked him a lot, actually.
I did too. Like,
I would watch a Circle of Iron too if he had come back to be like the teacher.
I mean,
for David Carradine, he'd have him be the master and some other young dude. I would have totally been in for that.
I'm sure had this been the actual like Bruce Lee product with Bruce Lee and then someone he hand selected, I forget whoever it was that helped him write this would have been a beautiful mix of martial arts and philosophy. We would have got best of both worlds.
Sure.
This though fits with everything we grew up watching though. Exactly what we've talked about. Beastmaster, Conan's, all this like this fits exactly with it. And I think that's why for us this works. This movie works so well.
All those movies we just mentioned and all the Roger Corman Goes to Argentina movies and everything.
Yeah.
This you have to see this movie, and the score is there's a lot of nice things you can say about it too, like the score is beautiful, the photography I thought was beautiful.
Shot really well.
Even though the martial arts they edited them together. I mean,
they edited some and they filmed additional scenes and then edited it in, so that's why some of it feels kind of jerky and not it kind of feels like you're not watching the same fight. The way they would edit some of it together.
And they would, especially like when they're in the camp and they start playing the music and the chicks are all like, and they kind of make a dance out of it. I was like, hell yeah.
There's the oil right there.
Yeah.
This is so left field.
It's very weird.
It's very weird. And I think I agree. It's played way too comically.
Yeah.
It should have been more philosophy driven, but I understand the studio sticking their fingers in this, but this still is just something, it sticks out. Like J-Man said, this scene, you're going to remember, the guy in the fucking vat of oil in the middle of the desert. My family brings me water and a little bit of rice.
That's nice. That's nice of them. That's very nice of them.
Are you guys old enough to remember a comedian named Charlie Callis?
Let me look him up.
Charlie Callis. No, I don't know.
No, well, it's not worth it if you don't know off the top of your head. So.
Callis.
Like he would be the only like to make it even more extremely goofy. Like he's like the only person.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, he would have been the only guy to make this even more ridiculous.
Yeah,
so.
I know him. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, this is so weird, right? Like, he should have just used his freeze gun, and then he wouldn't know.
But it was entertaining. I was entertained. I mean, it was goofy, but I was entertained. I mean,
same. It's just it doesn't fit the philosophy end of the movie once you really start digging into it. Even though it's probably one of the more philosophical topics that they should have really drove into a little bit.
Like, wouldn't he be dead?
Chastity, yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing is like,
he'd
be dead, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, is this even here, or is this the blind man giving another clue for the next challenge, right? Like, if we're going video game, your first part of the video game is you have the tournament, and then all of a sudden there's a cut scene where you win the tournament, but then you lose. So the cut, because you have to lose it. So you lose the tournament, and then you travel on. Then it's a free roamer after that, and you're traveling, and you follow Blade around and find the flute guy, and he says, "Oh, go to this thing," and So it's like, this guy's, again, is this really happening? I can't remember what happened right before, because there's no one else here. But again, this is another scene where it's just Cord by himself with no one around, and one lone person in a vast desert with nothing else around it.
Yeah.
So if we're taking all of those scenes as they're not really happening, like, that's your visual cue that this isn't really happening except for in his mind.
I was going to say, this is very much a mind journey if you wanted to put it in that box too. He's also not acknowledging Cord until Cord grabs him. Like, he even touches him and he kind of but he gets his attention, and then he starts talking to him. So it could be, I like the kind of take this more of a metaphysical way. And this is, we're watching his journey in his mind's eye, because the meditation's at the end of it too, where he has to sit on the chair and take it all in, and it's an inner self journey.
Yeah,
I want to watch this movie again. I'm done streaming. I'm gonna go watch it.
but look, there's nobody here. Like, where is this?
There's nothing.
Like, where did he walk to get, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, he just appears in these spots where someone is being hurt or tortured or dying slowly, and there's no one there. And like, what the hell? It has to be fake. This isn't. Go ahead, Steve.
It's the randomness of a dream, right?
Yeah.
Where you gotta dispel logic to get you from point A to point B or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, even if you have like the slightest bit of logic, he said, yeah, he would be dead. But also, he wouldn't even be able to handle the tub that he's in. If he's in the middle of the desert, it'd be boiling hot. So him chilling on it,
right,
with his arm on the side, those are all those little cues. And yes, it could be part of the filmmaking and all that kind of stuff. But in my mind, all of these are his imagination.
So is he pooping and peeing and then sitting in his own?
Well, that's what one of the comments.
Yeah, is he pooing and peeing? Some classic comic CC's saying, it's like he's.
Well, also
go ahead.
Had this been done with English accents, this scene would not have been out of place in a Monty Python.
Oh, absolutely!
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. This is a Monty Python scene.
Even the horse kick is kind of Monty Python, where he's running around the trees and stuff. It's got the same kind of feel.
Yeah.
But even Cord walks up and goes, "Are you being tortured?" Torturing him in the hot oil in the middle of the desert. So Cord is trying to put logic into what he is seeing. Like, I love that. He keeps leaning back. Like, what's it look like? Well, your legs look like seaweed. Well, what about my my biggest my thing going on there? He goes, it's the size of a pimple. He goes, good. Then this will all be over soon. Like, holy shit, bro. Like, I don't hate the comedy of it. It makes us talk about it. But man, if you'd have took this into a more serious, journey defining tone, this would have been one of the more deep ones to go about his journey with chastity.
Charlie, not only that,
this kind of surrealism.
One second, Ross.
No, Ross, go ahead, and then I'll follow you. Go
ahead, Steve.
No, I was saying, because like, if you tie what he's saying here to then the conversation between the married couple, and the guy's like, "Oh, you gave me one gift 20 years ago."
Yes,
and like, there's that flippantness there, but also the seriousness underlying the words. I think like all of these kind of like sexually suggestive procreation type lessons or parables that you have in life, they're all connected and woven together.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's the underlying thread that was written into this.
Yeah.
And thankfully they kept that thread, even if they didn't intend to, because they just kept it scene by scene. But there is a thread that is connecting everything he's ran into for the philosophical end of, you know, this a man's journey, a person's journey,
Right.
even, you know, through all this.
Let me one second, guys. I just want to mention again, we're streaming this through multiple platforms, through multiple YouTube content creators. So I've put some links up. So Comics Asylum is Steve. So if you're watching this through anyone's channel, please make sure you subscribe to Comics Asylum. If you're watching this again from somewhere else, this is my personal channel. I'm hosting this today, and we stream every Sunday. So we're going to have ongoing conversations about different movies and cartoons. Sean is my co-host on many of my live streams, pretty much every live stream. So please make sure you subscribe to Sean. If you're watching on Sean's channel, please subscribe to everybody else. Charlie has an amazing podcast where he talks about action movies and horror movies and B-action movies as well. That is where the podcast is available for that site, but it's available on all of the platforms that you guys get your podcasts on. And Ross, who's on the bottom there, he's covered right now, so you'll see him in a second. He does stuff for Antarctic Press, which is comic book related. He recently translated all of the Your Hunter from the Future comic books, those original comic books, translate those to English. So we're going to have those in English format for the first time ever, and they're very great. So make sure you check out his work. And this is the YouTube channel. And he also has a podcast, which that is in the description of all my videos. So all these links are in the chat. They're all in my videos. They're in all my videos, whether these guys are here streaming or not. So there you go. And Classic Comics is also a friend of the channel. You know what? What the hell? Subscribe to Classic Comics. He's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to plug him tomorrow, but let's plug him today because he's here.
I love the Phantom of the Paradise thing too. So
we should do. Hey, buddy, you want to join us one time for Phantom of the Paradise? Message me after. Okay.
So two things. One, my Everything Comes Back to 2000 AD podcast is now on YouTube, but the guy who records it and is in charge of it, it's on he's got a channel for it. I'll get you the link.
Get me the link and I can do that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
This is so much like especially the Your comic books, because what doesn't come across in the movie, in the Your movie, is like the quest for identity and who do I belong to?
Right.
It's got some Zen overtones to it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
A blonde guy with amazing abs. You know, it's like there's so many, and then you go to the island at the end, and there's
a medallion. Like there's so many through lines.
When you go to the island, So this is, but like the Your movie hadn't even been brought over yet, or I'm not sure what the timeline between the Your miniseries and
Your.
Already really close to about this time, right?
Yeah, I mean it's less than 5 years, I think. But
so Your is 83 if we're going by Your, but that miniseries, that 4-part miniseries airing in Italy or whatever.
That was earlier, so it'd be
that
like
was probably
70.
The comic predated this movie.
Yeah, so the comics even
So
he even has the medallion. So this is another thing. The certain people get medallions. So if you're a seeker, you get this medallion which looks like wherever you're from. So we see this guy here, this big huge guy. This guy's got a medallion, so he is also taking part. Now, looks like his journey may be very similar to Cord's. We don't know what his first mission was or trial, but he's going to have the same trial. Now, he is going to fail. There's David Carradine. Now we know for sure that, okay, David Carradine, he's playing the Bruce Lee role, which would have been the Bruce Lee role.
Yeah.
He's repeating. So he is the guide. He's also the master of all of the trials. He's not the final boss. That's reserved for, Dracula, Dooku. Hold on. Saruman. Like what the hell?
Golden Gun.
Scaramanga.
Yeah.
This is like so that is the real final boss. Everybody.
Or is it? It is the real final boss.
Well,
dude, we watched a totally different movie. Then
you're right. We'll see. We'll see
about who the final boss is.
Okay, we'll see about that. Yes, we'll see. But actually, what's funny?
if a replica of the medallion turned up on Etsy, if Cord's medallion turned up,
I'd get that in 2 seconds.
Dude,
I love necklaces. I just looked up one the other. I'm such a nerd for this kind of stuff. Like I saw Aquaman in the first Aquaman movie, and I have Jason Momoa's necklace from that.
Yeah.
I even wanted the bear necklace from, I know New Mutants is a crappy movie, but I like Danny Moonstar as a character, and I wanted her necklace that she had. I couldn't find that. I found one on Etsy and it was like super expensive. I also want, here's a really good one. I want the key to power down the explosion, the station from Andromeda Strain. Remember, he wore that metal key. It was like they've got them. The people have made them.
Oh wow!
I love Andromeda Strain, both the book and the movie. One of my favorites. One of the best adaptations.
I would get a Your medallion.
Your medallion for sure.
Your medallion.
Meanwhile, on Caligula, we could do Caligula. I just got the super 4K version of that, which has all of the. There's like four or five versions of Caligula. I don't know which one to watch, but I put it on for 5 minutes, and the very first, my wife's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I'll have to watch this when you're not around."
Yeah,
I've seen it before. So
you don't want to see 60s and 70s movies with too high resolution because there's body hair and
there's a lot of body hair
on the skin that you just don't want to see.
That reminds me, I am not bothered. This is another thing. This is just random. I'm not bothered by poor effects or whatever. It doesn't affect. If I like the movie, it doesn't affect me.
Right.
Like this movie too. I'm watching. I'm like, my one of my favorites that Charlie absolutely loves is Conquest, of course. Charlie doesn't like Conquest.
If I could see the movie, I'd probably enjoy it.
You saw it just beautifully fine. It's a masterpiece, and everyone's
I'm gonna watch it through the end of my bottle. That's exactly how you watch Conquest.
I can't even share that movie on here because
no, you can't.
Because Sabrina Siani is literally nude the entire film, so you cannot show. So you should watch White Cannibal Queen. I got that on 4K. That's a good one too.
Dude, I'm not. I gotta do this because I'm not even kidding. At 7:25, my co-host went, "Hey, what is the Sword and Sandal movie where the villainess is topless the whole movie and she wears a gold mask?"
What?
And I put Conquest.
What? Wow,
that is 7:39, and then J-Man references.
Wow. Well, because Conquest is. Conquest is just one of the greatest things. It's not one of the greatest movies. It's just one of the greatest things created by man, where they came together. They literally, they phoned me. They're like, "What do you want?" I wasn't born yet, but they phoned me in the future. It was like Frequency. Remember, you could call them.
Oh yeah, you could talk to the future.
So they said, "What do you want to see?" I said, "Well, there's got to be tons of nudity." Yeah, gotcha. There's got to be weird snake stuff. Yep, that's in there. How about ripping a woman in half?
That's the best death.
That's the best death.
The wishbone
with like Romero.
The wishbone her, the wishbone. I said, is there a way that you could throw in an energy bow and arrow? Yeah, we got you. Okay. I said, I got one more thing. This is going to be a bit weird. Can the guy have bone and nunchucks? It's like, yes, but nunchucks wouldn't have really been around. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter.
I wish you'd have told him not to film it through cellophane. That's all.
I forgot.
I asked you to
Vaseline.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Steve,
do that.
Steve doesn't know what we're talking about. So
I'm gonna have to go YouTube it or something.
It's worth it to watch it, but you'll understand what I'm pissed off about when you start watching.
The soundtrack. The soundtrack is killer. I've got all of the posters. I got the super big poster. It's like my whole floor.
No,
it's not Argento. It's Fulci.
Fulci. Okay,
yeah, it's Fulci.
Argento wouldn't have done the
it's a fantasy thing, but it's Fulci, so it's mega.
So it's super weird and like gory. Okay, anyways, so this guy's going to do his test. Let's see him. So here you go. Now he's got a medallion. Let me see if we can see it for a sec. Hold on.
This guy's a bodybuilder from what I saw. Like this is
gotta be
like up there with Arnold and Lou Ferrigno around that time.
He could have been. He may have been in. He actually may have been in Pumping Iron.
He probably was.
I've seen Pumping Iron 4,000 times. Like I've seen. I would watch it 3 times in a day. Like I love Pumping. I don't know why I'm definitely not in that camp, but I don't know. I just I can't get enough of it.
There's a clip going around of a guy that's doing one of his protein shakes, and he's watching Pumping Iron, and his girlfriend walks in, and it's from the back, and he's shaking the shaker for the
Oh
protein
my
shake,
God, I
but
love
that's
it.
not what she sees.
No, that is so funny.
It's just my protein shake, hun. Yeah, Jay, man. Yeah,
But I'm telling you, Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie, him talking to Lou Ferrigno at that breakfast is, I literally have cried my eyes out, worse than whatever I just laughed. I was on a streamer, so I cried my eyes out. I cry. It's one of the funniest things where he's like, you're talking about bumping up, you're talking about psyching me out, and talking to my mother. And then he's like trying to eat breakfast, and Schwarzenegger's pretending he's scared, and he's shaking the eggs, and then Lou Ferrigno holds his arm while he eats. He's like, thank you. It's like so fake.
I haven't watched that in forever, but I've seen it.
Oh, it's a genius. It's a
This guy's
masterpiece.
name is just the Giant too for this movie.
I love it. I
I'm
love this
totally
guy.
down for that character name. What am I playing? The Giant. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I love this Carradine. I love the look of this character he's playing.
Yeah.
His attitude, his charisma. Like that's David Carradine. Like I would be curious to what Bruce Lee would have done, but this was written for David Carradine right here. That I love this character.
I think they definitely tweaked. It's Earl Maynard is the Black Giant.
What was that?
That guy should be Imaro or whatever, right? Like that would be a good. Well, I don't know if he's an actor or not, but.
Well, I mean, he doesn't look like that now, but yeah.
No, I mean, like back then, if they had done it. Oh, he's in the Sword and the Sorcerer. What?
Is
Who
he
is
another
in that?
Carradine one?
He's in the Deep. Okay, Truck Turner, Black Belt Jones. Oh my God, this guy
is awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense that he would be a fixture.
He's in all the blaxploitation flicks.
Yeah. But Sword and the Sorcerer, we did that. What?
We just did
year
that
and a
one.
half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
It feels like we just did it. It's probably been over a year since we did
that. Wow. So yeah, interesting here. So we got again, and then so Chang Shaw is going to fight this guy. I'm more like just dancing around and with these ladies.
It fit the
here.
character though. I like that it was not about power or size.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the skill of the fighter. There's also pretty. I mean, it'll show it here in a minute that he kills this dude. Like it's pretty wild that he goes that far.
Yeah, he failed the test.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he says that he's now enlightened because,
he got what he asked for.
He got what, yeah.
Yeah, because he goes on. He is now on the threshold of wisdom and knowledge, which means you're on the other path that only people that die get to be on, and that's where it's like, it's not that everyone's on this path to get to Zartan. What was this guy's name? Zetan. That's not what everyone was after. That's what Anthony DeLongis was, which there means that's where Cord is going. Everyone else's is just a different path of knowledge and enlightenment. But you take it as this guy really just, he's bodybuilder. So they went, you're perfect for this because you're going to think my size, my physique, my power is the answer to how I'm going to get what I want. Yet he was taken out by a small, skinny, delicate, like you said, he looks like a dancer. He's dancing and defeats this guy with, you'd think one punch, he would just take, David Carradine out, wherever his name is, but he doesn't. But yet he still got what he came for. He got to the other end of his journey. It's
plus, if this is an Asian,
I want to watch it again.
So go ahead, Ross.
If this is an Asian, religion-based story, they believe in reincarnation. So like that guy, that life, it's like a video game. It's like that life is over and he's gone on to his next
respawn. So now imagine David Carradine as Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee's even shorter and leaner, and it would have, like, against this guy, this would have been crazy. Like, you think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from Game of Death.
It's a David and Goliath kind of
Bolo Young
going on there.
Bolo
Young.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. He's a Chinese Hercules. He's a monster, right?
Okay,
so these big, huge, beefed up guys. Like, I mean, yeah, you'd think this guy's dead, right? Like,
two unpopular opinions. If Bruce Lee had been alive and played this, who would they even find to go up against him in the fights? Like the fights would be like he would. There was no other martial arts actor.
The cast would have been different.
Yeah,
I
It
think
would have
I think
been
it,
radically more Asian cast.
but
Right.
I think Bruce Lee would have played it though, even though again this is early, like you said, Ross. Early Bruce Lee, we don't really know who he is.
Right.
Now we're looking back at who Bruce Lee is.
Right.
But I think he would have been like, obviously I could take him, but that's not the point of the journey.
Right.
You know, the point of the journey is learning how to, you know, ultimately, Cord probably could have done 90% of this without ever fighting. It's
No,
just what
right.
he first started.
That's true.
But,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like if you put Jet Li against who's Donnie Yen, right? Even though that fight scene took place in their minds and all that, you still got to see the two of them go toe to toe, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
But like, there's
some,
no other.
you know,
There was like no other martial arts actor who you could have put in this movie. Just
Actually, he would have fought James Clobberin. He would have fought all of his students.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Okay, so
James Coburn
that
helped him write this, so I think it was originally intended for James Coburn to be Cord. Yeah,
Right.
so
I can see that. I can see that.
Definitely makes way more
might
sense.
have been like instructing celebrities at this time too, so who knows? But
I mean, it's possible, but there's still Chuck Norris running around too at this time, who's still in. You know, he's doing some movies, but you know, he was in Bruce Lee movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
suddenly that's the greatest movie ever made. The other thing too, though, is I don't think this is. Don't boot me off for saying this, but like,
let me get ready. Let me get my mouse on there.
Bruce Lee at the time this movie was made was like he was always like Bruce Lee. He kind of played the same role in almost all of his movies. He had charisma.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no one.
But
that's not controversial.
would he have had the acting chops to play those 4 different roles so completely differently, like a seasoned actor like David
not that
Carradine?
early as he wanted to make it. I will agree with you there. When he wanted to do this and was shopping it, he was not there yet.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's probably never. He didn't get there in his movie time before he passed. But would he have gotten there even in 1978 if he had still been alive? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have
been also good. I think it would have been played differently. Like if we look at Schwarzenegger in my favorite movie, which is Conan Barbarian, it's all based on physical performance. Like the performance is a physical performance. I think the flute, the blind man, that would have been Bruce Lee, just your normal Bruce Lee. And then the other versions would have been more like the monkey would have been just like almost just like transforming into the animal. Like David Carradine's more like swaying around, but Bruce Lee would have become a monkey, probably hopping around and jumping off.
He'd have been like a Jackie Chan version, like where
remember the guy?
Style. Yeah.
Remember the guy from Bloodsport who was cracking the coconuts?
Yes, that guy, the one that's in the trees,
and all of that. It would have been more like that kind of a performance, like a physical.
He would have been good in the physical performance, but he still had to say lines as a blind dude, which would have been fine as Bruce Lee saying that. But then if he was playing the Chang whatever dude, like would he have played that character with the same amount of charisma? And
I'm not sure if that character would have been structured in the same way. It depends if Bruce Lee would have known his limitations and said, I'm going to make this a little bit different. Or they could have structured it where maybe that guy has someone who's a spokesperson. Maybe the girl Rose would have done more of the talking on the behalf of the guy of Shang Tsung, and she would have done more of the dialogue. And he would have done the performance part of it, and then the demon or death or whatever would obviously.
It's kind of cool to speculate, but you're looking at this big of a window of Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I know.
In the movies. Now, David Carradine is not an Oscar-worthy actor by any stretch of the imagination. No. He's not really doing anything overly fantastical in this, other than he has a way of speaking that feels, of this like sage, like wisdom-y kind of way to do it. Mm-hmm. But it's not like, oh my God, what he just said and the way he did this performance was so profound. Right. I really think this was changed for his benefit. That's why I'm saying
I believe that.
My favorite is the bizarre guy, because I really, like J-Man said, it would have probably been a totally different character for Bruce Lee, but David Carradine's, it goes to his strengths, which is why it's the best one.
Yep.
But like we're getting ready to get into death right here. Anybody could have been in that suit. Anyone could have done this.
So again, is this so again? Now we have this sort of like, you know, Commodore 64 or whatever, or you know, whatever, right?
This is
like,
when they tried to put real video in video games.
Yeah. It was like 3D, like a 3DO or something.
3DOs.
Like plumbers wear pants, or what was that? What was that weird game called?
Plumbers don't wear ties.
Oh, plumbers don't wear ties. That's
what it was.
Yeah. Plumbers don't look up plumbers don't wear ties. That's the most ludicrous thing ever.
I don't care, but I still think this is kind of cool.
This is super neat, right? So
I do like
this. Looks like this is like Mortal Kombat 2 or something. Like, you know.
No, it's good.
No. We're not going to get into. Do I need to get into why Mortal Kombat 2 is a masterpiece?
We're not doing a 7-hour stream.
All right, fine. I'll save that one. I'll save why Mortal Kombat 2 is
the last one.
Well, we're debating it. You'll have to play the Mortal Kombat music in the background.
I've got every CD soundtrack ever released for those two movies. And I can't wait for this new one. Yeah, it's Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, the blue and everything.
Blue Cord.
This is the even though it's probably one of the more profound, this was also the most logical trial for him, because basically at the end of this is called "I'm Not Afraid of Death."
Yeah,
I know you're following me. I know you're always there, and I'm always waiting. I am not afraid of you. I mean, it's great, it's profound, but also I'm watching it going, it's obvious. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it's tough, you know.
And you can't fight death either. So there's
remember, I also remember 1978. People are watching a movie. Oh, that was a cool movie. They ate their popcorn or wherever they ate, and then they went home, and then that's the end of it. There wasn't going to be this big discussion. So in the beginning of that, the very, very beginning of this DVD disc or whatever, Blu-ray disc, whatever, they've got that message saying, look, this would have been weird. They're basically saying it's a disclaimer. Look, this is a weird movie. It's from that time, and in that time it would have been weird. So bear with us here. You know, we did the best we could with what we had. That's basically what's a disclaimer, right?
So because it's such an exploitation movie and following Roger Corman rules, it wasn't art film enough to be an art film, and yet there's a lot of this movie that's an art film. Like this could be a Jodorowsky.
I'll agree with that
if you didn't have martial arts in it.
If you want Charlie to watch an art movie, this is how you make them. Okay, that's how I'll watch an art.
It's definitely Jodorowsky, though. I definitely get super, Holy Mountain or there's Santa Sagra and all those other Santa.
It's the same thing, but I would rather watch this one like a few more times before
I do like Holy Mountain, but
I like them. I mean, I saw them once and don't regret it. But it was like if I'm gonna,
you might regret them.
If I'm going to watch something again and then talk about it with friends, this is going to be it. Circle of Iron is my movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we know if Golden Harvest or something did this on their own as well, or no? No. I just find it fascinating that this is meant to be a Hollywood thing. It's not like he made a lot of them,
Right.
I know he's transitioning when he died, but most of his movies were Hong Kong. And then,
if this was supposed to be a big release over here, why did it basically feel like it disappeared? For most people to never even heard of it, and then J-Man to not know about it till a Blu-ray special edition was announced or something.
And I'm like a super nerd for this. Like I would have been all over this. Like I had Lone Wolf, I had Shogun Assassin. Like when it was out, Hard Boiled, like I remember Killer coming out and be like, oh yeah, the Killer, got to check that one out. One cop, one killer, 10,000 bullets was the tagline. We're like, oh, I can't wait. Yeah. So I don't know how this is. I actually like when I didn't know about something. It gets me pumped. So this is why maybe when I first watched it, I got really excited because like, this is a Bruce Lee thing. It looks like a fantasy thing. I don't know about this movie. What in the hell's happening in my life right now? I was like, well, this is going to be awesome.
It's checking all these weird boxes you didn't know you wanted.
It's not a Bruce Lee movie. That's the thing. It's not. I mean, I have the big Bruce Lee pack.
And
so do I. On it. Right?
It's not on
it's discounted by everybody.
Yeah. But when David Carradine put his name on it, that automatically, as soon as you say Bruce Lee, you're like, oh, I have to see this now. This has to be in my library.
But if you're expecting Bruce Lee, because that's kind of how they sold it back in '78. It's like, oh, this is like the lost Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah.
So if you go in expecting anything having to do with Bruce Lee except for his philosophy and all that,
Right.
you're going to be disappointed. But if you
I
tell a
get
bunch
that.
of if you
Yeah.
tell the dudes who like Deathstalker and Sword and the Warrior and
You
the
said
Sorceress
Deathstalker.
and David
Again.
Carradine movies, that there's this other David Carradine movie that Roger Corman didn't make that has all this stuff you liked from all the other Roger Corman, David Carradine movies. You'd be like J-Man and just, we gotta get it.
All right, sorry, hold on.
I'll have my revenge, and Deathstalker too.
Sorry.
Thank God
I cut it. I cut it off. I cut it off a
This
little
movie.
bit.
I love it every time. It's my favorite. It's
How about I'll throw the. I've been watching. I was watching Diener again. I'll throw this one out.
Know that we both know that we don't know what we're doing. Knowledge of non-knowledge is power.
Knowledge of non-knowledge is power.
yeah.
I think that pretty much sums up this movie. No, so okay, so now he's washed himself clean of everything. Yeah, right.
Dude, it like
Come on.
sometimes you have to think. Sometimes it punches you in the face.
Sometimes it punches you in the face. No, but the movie. Okay, so no, but this is the thing. Okay, this is the important thing. This movie, like you are Cord also. You're learning.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now picking up on things that you would not have thought of. So my thing with this movie is I started watching it. This is like one of those movies where I started watching it for a different reason. And it gave me, like, I knew it was going to be cool as I was watching it. And it gave me things to like. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, this is like pretty good. Like, what the hell happened here? This happened with Zardos, which is why I'm saying we should do Zardos. Because same thing, everyone makes fun of it. Oh, it's cheesy, it's stupid. And my buddy loved it, and he showed it to me. I don't know how old I was, like maybe like 17 or whatever. Like this is like way back. And I was like, this movie is awesome. Like, what the hell? And then I read the book. I got the book from eBay, or whenever I was able to get, whenever eBay came out, and I found the book and I bought it and read that. But same thing here. Like now it's like, it's punching. Is it punching you in the face or have you gotten smarter? And
that's
as you're watching.
Put the pieces together of what, because you guys were nailing it for a second there, talking about who was going to enjoy this. When I started watching this, and I'm guaranteeing Steve, we're expecting a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
We're expecting just wall kicks, all this all amazing guys flying. Once I got my brain flipped into, this is a philosophy thing, and having that little bit of knowledge of Bruce Lee's thoughts on philosophy, I don't care what anybody says. I love Last Dragon, even though it's a way more Hollywoodized version
awesome.
of his life. I don't care. I love it.
I love it.
It also touches way more on his philosophy and the way he was building it.
Yeah.
So I love that movie. So now I'm like, okay, different Bruce Lee, different thought process. Now I'm in it. I went to church as a kid. I get a little bit of the, religion and stuff added in, and facing death, being reborn again and the baptized in the waters and stuff like that, being clean, starting anew. You're just like, holy crap. This is a movie made in 1978 starring David Carradine.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, I'm not above lying to people. Like I've got to get you pumped up for the movie. So I will lie to you in a way that I know that will get you to want to watch it. And then I would never lie to you to watch a bad movie.
Right.
I wouldn't lie. Right. But see, I did say there's some Zen philosophy, but I kind of like, it's Bruce Lee, it's David Carradine. You got to watch this.
That's exactly how you sold it to me. It's like, oh my God, you're going to love this.
Right. David but if I said it was this guy walking around learning lessons about life, you'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that many 1978. There wasn't like a lot of stuff aggressive. Like there was Star Wars with the hero's journey and all that. Right. Even then, they didn't lean into that until like Empire Strikes Back and the later.
Star Wars is such an outlier, though. Star Wars is one of those like once in a lifetime.
In 1978, we were still trying to remember the order C-3PO.
Right? But Hollywood's still making movies like this, like Circle of Iron. So it's like Star Wars came from the future.
This is like exploitation town here.
Yeah.
So for there to be an exploitation movie that's doing the hero's journey story, which really was still, it's like academics and people in college and pot smoking.
It's the oldest stories too. It's Beowulf.
Right.
It's all these other things.
Yeah.
The Odyssey. All the Iliad. Everything.
Yeah, the Zen philosophy was not mainstream. It was like New Agers, and,
Yes.
a few James Coburn Hollywood types who were kind of into that, and then art students who were lucky enough to have access to some of the samurai movies and Asian movies, like through an art movie theater. Like if you lived in a college town or something, and that was about it. That was like the people who would know what this is. And you show this like in Montana or Oklahoma or something, and people go in expecting to see ass kicking, and it's like, oh, I have cleansed myself. It's like, what?
See, so one of the things I love about Conan, which I love here too, is I like the moments where the characters are sitting and just enjoying things and talking, like when Subotai and Conan are talking about the gods. It's like your god lives underneath them and all of that stuff. I love all of that. And I like where they're sitting down. Movies are so scared to have moments where the characters are just put the camera on and say action and let it play. Have confidence in your writing. Have confidence. It doesn't need to be constant some bullshit happening. Like let it play out and talk. Some of the best parts why is Empire so great? Just Yoda and Luke just talking is super awesome. It's better than any Disney thing put together. They have all this flashing lights and look at all these. Oh, we've got these characters. We've got all. Nobody cares. It's like these two characters just talking, and these two guys just sitting here. It's like, okay, so now we're an hour and 4 minutes in. We're in the last bit. This is the last act now, right? To complete it up.
Right.
And like, we have this break moment. Like, okay, they're sitting here. It's just a little bit just to relax. Now you're really ready. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You were doing your bullshit. It was fun and games, right? I always do Predator 2. It's fun and games, cops and robbers, but now you're in the shit.
You're in the shit, kid.
you're in the shit. Yeah. I absolutely love Predator 2. But anyways,
nobody asked to come down here.
That scares the shit out of me. Nobody requests to come down here. When he shines, he goes, well, cooperation is my middle name. Danny Glover was awesome. Anyways, I love it. Okay. So, anyways, let's. Now I don't. That's me throwing it off topic. Okay, so let's continue on the journey here. So now they're ready to go. So now the things here that happen, these are like mini lessons. Now you're getting a bunch of in a row mini lessons, and you start off by the blind man saying, "Listen, I'll be your guide here on in. You're a new person, but." You're going to see some weird shit. Don't question it. It's wax on, wax off, right? It'll make sense after. And now by this time in the movie, we're now going to be like, okay, I get it. Because now they're showing us more information. Like before this, we're only seeing Cord walking around. Now we're seeing scenes without him. Like we're seeing the married couple bickering and being idiots. It's like, okay, now we're seeing other stuff. We saw the parents with the kid, like, oh, he's so cute. Oh, here, would you like some food? No, I don't want this. He's just being a dick. You're like, okay. So we're seeing all of this stuff now outside of, just following Cord around. So we see that he's going to interact with it. So we see what's happening. Then Cord's going to interact with it. So we've got the knowledge before Cord does of what he's going to see. And then we see Carradine's reaction to it. And then you're like, okay, this is going to mean something. And you just pick it up right away. Like the kid, I knew the kid. I got that. The kid's being a snot-nosed piece of crap punk kid, and he got his ass smashed in the face because he's a piece of shit, right? It's like, learn this kid up. So that, some of them are more obvious than others, but okay, so let's go through this here. Here's the Raiders here. A mini Seven Samurai here. It's two guys versus some Raiders, I guess.
David Carradine figurating around the trees made me laugh. Just walking away from the horses, going around trees. I was cracking up at this thing. This is also when a horse gets roundhouse kicked in the face. And
listen, this is all about equality. If horses are being dicks, you're allowed to kick them in the head.
You're allowed to kick an asshole horse. I don't care. I
love that. Yes, we're remembering Hundra, the masterpiece called Hundra. Steve, you weren't here for Hundra versus Red Sonja. That was awesome. that was a bloody awesome. Because I didn't realize
those movies are going to be better than the new Red Sonja movie. So there you go.
I don't know. I'll see the new Red Sonja movie because it's Red Sonja. It doesn't look that. It looks
I didn't
okay.
say I wasn't going to see it. I'm just saying that I could already tell that those were going to be better.
It might be okay, and I'm looking forward to Mortal Kombat too. So,
dude, I can't wait. Johnny Cage, man, that looks good.
Okay, so these guys attack. Not a big deal here.
It's a scene filler, is really what that felt like. Those guys
so this is the point of it here. Some of these bricks were knocked over, and there's some coins and stuff there. So the widow had hidden some of her fortune, or whatever, not fortune, her money, her only money in these rocks. And because it got knocked over, they're risking their lives to go and put the rocks back. And Cord is like, we got to get out of here. Like, why are you rebuilding? There's some funny lines. He's like, the chimney's not looking very good. You want to rebuild that too while we're sitting here? That was funny. I actually did laugh out loud on that. And then he's like, why are you rebuilding this? And he's like, I said, you can't question, don't question me on these missions or whatever. So now we got to see the money.
And this is, we knew about the money, but this is also the scene where you get the quote from the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Up is down. The
Weird Al song.
It's before all this,
Up is down, short is tall. Up is down, left is right, and short is tall. Everything you know is wrong. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a Weird Al, so you don't know the Weird Al song, Everything You Know Is Wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think what album was that on?
The Jurassic Park one. I don't know what the Jurassic Park.
I have it, but I've only heard it.
I don't think it's Alapalooza. I think it's another one. I think it might be Running with Scissors, but I don't know.
Doesn't Alapalooza have the Jurassic Park logo on it? Yeah.
Where's it from?
Yeah. Alapalooza had the
Jurassic it's Bad Hair Day. Sorry, it's from
Bad Hair Day. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I had that one too.
Coolio one.
Yeah.
Everything you know is wrong. Okay. So they're going to fight these guys. There's a little bit of action here, just to.
I'm not hating on this action. This felt non-martial arty action. This felt very sword and sorcery.
This is the rule of 10 minutes where it's kind of like, okay.
You're 100%
in 10 minutes, get the guys and the horses in. Slapping the kid isn't enough. We got any real action.
They got the dailies and went, what happens in between this scene and this scene? Nothing. No, we need to fix that.
Yeah.
Here's some horses. Go film something.
Come up with some BS philosophy for it to be, but it's got to have some kind of sword fighting and of course get the kid.
Yeah, anything.
Here's this kid who's going to become like an underwear model or something, and they're like, "Oh, your hair is so silky and all this," and they're like,
Prince Valiant haircut.
He's pulling on Carradine's robes or something like that. So you slap him in the face.
Let me comb your hair.
Well, he puts his hand out like he's like looking for a toll,
a handout or something. Like that. Yeah.
Man, because I work in kids' books, and especially the way they come into the store on Saturdays, I love this scene. He was my seafood. He was my seafood for that scene.
That doesn't look like Rachel. Not at all. Stop it.
See, he should have slapped Rachel Zegler too. I mean, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. You want to hear? I had a weird epiphany about that. Where I was like, at least she's not lying. She says that she thinks the Snow White movie is trash. Versus people who are pretending to like the source material and don't make it. Like this guy saying, "I love the Fantastic Four comics." Well, how come Silver Surfer isn't Norton Rad? Well, because so you don't love the comics. Why are you lying? It's better. I mean, she's an idiot. But at least she came out and said, "Oh, that old Snow White movie is complete trash. I think mine's better."
She didn't write the new one either.
She didn't write the new one either. I know.
Right.
But I'm saying she's speaking up. But we're all giving her this hate. She didn't write it. Someone else.
Yeah, she's just an idiot.
It up. Yeah, somebody else already screwed it up. She's just a poster child of it.
She's a complete moron and she's an idiot. Don't get me wrong.
100%.
That movie sucks. She's an idiot. But I'm saying she's an idiot. But I don't like people saying, "Oh, I love the old comics and I love this character," and then they don't bring it to the screen. It's like, well, then like clearly you don't love the character because you're lying to me, right? So I and I don't care about Snow White anyway. So okay. So did he already slap him? Oh, he's going to slap him up here.
think it slaps through his
Well, I
side.
think,
I think it happened.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Oh no, there it is.
Oh,
Watch.
raspberry.
Oh, it's coming up.
You want to get the pinpoint. Oh, yeah. Oh,
There we go.
Okay, here he comes. He's gonna do it. I'm just pausing because I don't want to get nailed.
Come on! Backhand!
Strong.
That was a blaxploitation backhand, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't. What's the there's the bitch slap and the pimp slap. I don't know which is which. Pimp is the backhand,
I'm
or
not sure.
The mom's going, "How dare you?" The dad's going, "You can do that."
no, but the mom likes it. No, the mom likes
You
it later.
start smiling
She
after.
smiles
Yeah, she
after.
does
She
smile
likes
later.
it.
But that freeze frame right there is like, wait, that's an option.
I didn't know we could slap this kid in the stupid face. Look, she's laughing here. Look at this kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I tell my kids, what did we learn? That's exactly what they're saying to this kid right now.
That is so funny.
What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap!
All right, so here's where he's like, but why? The boy. Explain the boy. Explain the boy. So he explains that. Okay, so we missed the break in the boat part. I guess I skipped by that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they cross the river on this boat. There's a man and woman who are arguing about, and he breaks the boat. That happened earlier on, like in this thing. We kind of skipped by it.
Before the assault, right?
That was before that, yeah. And he breaks the boat because the bandits were there, and he's like, well, the bandits are gonna come out. Now the thing is, we haven't seen the bandits. Like, we know they're there, but the blind guy should not know that they're there. And this is important. The blind guy should know that they're there because, he's like, and he's like, so Cord is saying, did you sense that these bandits were coming? He's like, well, I broke the boat so that it wouldn't take the boat across. Well, how did you didn't see them? Did you hear them? Did you sense them? How? And he's like, the boy, you haven't seen him. How do you know the boy was this pretty boy guy who's going to be this tyrant because he's just being spoiled? And how do you know that there's this, why did you rebuild that thing? How did you know there was money in there? Because you can't see the money. And it's so great because it's a movie thing. We are watching this movie and we're like, yeah, how does he know all this? And then you're thinking in your head, I guess he sensed it, or maybe he has, and it's like, no, I've been through here 100 times. Like, I know everybody. Isn't that genius?
Yeah. Well, so you guys said this isn't an unnecessary scene and all that. It's like, no, to get to that line, which explains pretty much the whole movie, you had to do all that stuff.
Right.
But to add a little
10
bit,
minutes of cool stuff to.
Yeah, but to add a little bit to what we were saying earlier, this is also another moment where you could be like, this isn't actually happening. So David Carradine would already know all of this stuff needs to transpire for his journey to teach Cord. So all of this has already been, it's faked. It's already been laid out. It's already the path. So there's 1,000 ways to interpret this scenario. Movie wise, it totally makes sense to put the audience in on it, because otherwise you would have to go, well, yeah, remember when I did this and then there's gold there, or remember when I kicked a hole in their boat? That's because the bandits were there. So it's good filmmaking and philosophy at the same time with this scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was smart. It's like, because you're like sitting there saying, well, how did you know? Did you sense it? No, I've been here. It's like, oh, yeah, who knows how many times he's crossed over on this. And perhaps other times he's crossed a different way with different guys doing trials. Like maybe, he's had other people and he goes a different way to teach them a different lesson.
Yeah, there is no up, north, south, east, or west or anything. This is the path.
He might be on his own, still on his own path. Just because he's a teacher doesn't mean he's not learning.
That's true too, because that comes into play at the end. So yeah.
It's like
so now
he's a dungeon master.
He's the DM. Right. Yeah. And it is, and I DM all the time. I'm a forever DM. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I DM'd 4 million times. So I do one every month with my other buddies, and it's like, yeah, I've got to. I don't even write the next adventure. I write like 3 scenarios basically the day before we even play it, because I don't know what they're going to do. They're crazy. Like half the time they're like, I'm just going to murder this person and rob them. I'm like, oh great, that was going to be a character I wanted to have, and that was going to be an NPC. Well, they're dead. So Right? There's no point because I got one guy who wants to murder everybody, and then my wife wants to. She wants to talk to everybody and have lengthy conversations, and then I've got the one guy who's just like the strategy guy. Okay, no, hold on a second. I should attack first and go here. So it's like you got like every player. But it's tough to anticipate. So the blind guy's
you
going
gotta
with
be
it.
You got to be fluid, like the blind
fluid.
guy. You got to be
like water. That's
Yeah,
Bruce
like
Lee said,
water.
be like water.
Mhm.
Be like
He
water.
also, you can't step on the same water twice.
Oh, that's
Yes.
a great line.
Right.
Yeah, that's from. So hold on. I can. You know who said that? I'll find it before we. I'll find it before we think. I've got all my philosophy notes, and I know who said that line. Oh,
Really?
Yes, I know who said. I know which philosopher said that line. It was either, or no, maybe it was. Oh, who was it? I already did the exam. So as soon as I do the exam, I forget everything.
I didn't know there was a test.
Yeah. But no, I know who said that line. You can't step in the same, because basically it's always changing, and you can't even name the next philosopher that came after that said, not only can you not step in the same river twice, you can't even name it because as soon as you name it the Nile, what you named the Nile just changed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
wow.
also you're not even touching it with your own skin at any point,
right?
Because we're always changing too.
We're changing.
So yeah,
well, he says you cannot possess
really
yourself, right? I don't know if we passed. I wrote that as a note.
I think we passed you can't possess yourself. I think that was one of the bizarre type things that's going on.
Yes, because that was cool. So now this is the new chord 2.0, like Megan 2.0.
Yep.
Chord 2.0. Not the same chord. It's like, now I'm going to beat you up. Woo.
Hey.
But then they start playing the music.
Whoa.
Geez, Jay, man, you find all the great spots to hit us.
Yeah.
This is when they did this, I love this, where it starts swapping to all the other boss levels that
guys,
we have gone. But it's everything he has learned up until now. And it's almost, and again, there's scenes in this fight that also make me think this isn't happening, because there's a whole point where he's just standing there and there's nothing going on around
him.
He is just doing that pose, and it's like people are watching him like, wasn't he going to do something? So it's almost like David Carradine as the bizarre guy is just standing over there. But there's all these other things, like, you remember every lesson you've learned. You will need to know everything that you've gleaned from this journey at this moment, and it's done visually right here.
See, like literal-minded people like my grandparents who would have watched this, they would have just been like, is he transforming into all those characters? Did they all come back to life? I mean,
that'd be my dad. My dad would have watched this one time when it's not enough action and never ever rented it again. Yeah, because he would have took the literal end of the martial art movie.
Right.
Yes. My mom and stuff, like my mom, my grandparents, like they'd watch, like my grandfather liked Dukes of Hazzard. He liked, Roger Moore, James Bond. He wanted to know, okay, these are the bad guys. These are the good guys. The bad guys aren't really so bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Dukes of Hazzard. They're bad guys kind of, but they're not murderers. Like, so he likes that kind. He liked that simple entertainment. Like, we watched Hard Target and he loved Hard Target. He's like, that was good. It's like obvious Van Damme is the good guy beating up these bad guys.
You know who to root for. You know who's going to die at the end.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens in the middle.
Yeah. He doesn't. He would. Like, right. Like, this is like, what is this? Like, nothing's going on. I don't and my grandmother watched Star Trek and she'd be like, oh, that wouldn't happen. Like, that's her review. Like,
she's not getting in on the philosophy of Star Trek, the underlying stories of it. And that's the thing. If I'd have watched this, still stuck in my head that this was just going to be a martial art movie, I'd hate this scene too. But because the switch flips, even when they're buddies at the end, it's like, hey, it's not about the fight now, which is what I was saying earlier.
Yes.
More than likely, he never needed to fight anyone to get through on his journey. But
there might not have been a fight, Charlie. You might have made a point there, because are those spectators watching a guy morph into different people in front of them? Like, are they even there? Like,
are the spectators there? I was just getting ready.
Yes.
Or imagining them imagining that character as all those different characters he fought.
Yeah,
he's imagining that.
I thought Cord was just gleaning from his experiences from the other fights and incorporating them into his strategy against this guy.
Right, now, it's not literally happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point. Yeah, sorry, Steve. What were you gonna say?
No, I agree. I agree with Sean. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's not literally happening the way we're seeing it. The thing is that the movie was ahead of its time, and it was ahead of its production values.
Yes.
You can't, like, there's some things where, like, we're watching, we watch the Star Treks on repeat, so we're watching Next Gen now. So we go through them all. We just keep going through them all. Like, we just cycle through. So we're on Next Gen, and I love original series. But yeah, Next Gen, I got the Blu-rays now, so it looks great. So yeah, some of these things can be realized better, right? Like when they see the Romulans, or when they see the Klingons, like the makeup's better, the ships look better. But it's like, the ideas of Star Trek are still there. So the ideas are always good, and it's just the technology caught up to the ideas, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like,
but they're topics that are age old: racism, stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly.
Classisms,
sure.
All of this stuff. So none of that never changes. It's just how it's depicted. So that's another one of this. But they still did a really fucking good job in 1978.
I know I like this movie. Like, I think if I saw this in 78, I'd be like, wow, this is like one of my favorites.
Well,
I'm glad I watched it now.
12, I knew I was watching something different from, because my dad, like, after it was okay for me to see Jaws, which was my first PG movie. My dad would take me to go see, like, all the Roger Cormans. We had a Cineplex that showed all the Roger Corman movies, so we saw practically all of them at the time.
Yeah.
And even that, so this one, it was kind of like, I think like I said, they were kind of promoting it as the lost Bruce Lee movie. So you go and watch expecting a Bruce Lee movie, and then you get this, but it's kind of like the Bruce Lee thing that you paid to see. To my mind, even at 12 years old, I felt they replaced it with something that I totally enjoyed, and I didn't miss the Bruce Lee part of it.
Right.
It would, again, we've been talking about, like, what could have been all night, and that
it's fun to speculate, but yeah.
But even then, that's part of the fun. Like you get to sit around with your buddies and, like, imagine what this movie could have been. If it had just been like, here's the new Bruce Lee movie, and maybe it wouldn't have been. Maybe having him in it would have resulted in a movie that wasn't even this good. So
that's true too.
You're very right about
there's
that.
the possibility.
Yeah, like, we're just assuming that, like, oh, if it was Bruce Lee, it would have been better, but maybe it wouldn't have been.
Maybe they didn't get the same director, and that other director wouldn't have been as good. And
did you see who he wanted to direct it originally? Who he actually went and saw?
Who was it? Who was it again?
Roman Polanski.
Oh God, no. Okay, yeah.
Bruce Lee had a meeting with him when he was first shopping this around.
Well, his Macbeth is 10 out of 10. I'll tell you that much. I got that on Criterion.
Okay, so
Roman Polanski would have directed this more than likely.
Okay, yeah. Knowing what I know about Polanski now, it's like, no way would I have loved this movie. So,
but we don't. Again, we don't know. Right?
We don't know, and we're just speculating. This ending, wow, like. No, this one caught me off guard. Like, this is so, like, just transported into a whole nother Dustin, stop it. Okay. He didn't care for Iron Eagle.
I know. And if he's watching on your channel, so I can't block him, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll handle it internally.
This is an internal matter, Charlie. Please take care of this.
I'll talking about the great ending of this movie, and some idiots complaining about Iron Eagle.
I know, it's Dustin every time. I don't know. But yeah, this ending, it's the stark contrast of what we've been expecting the entire movie.
You're right.
You're expecting the boss fight.
Well, you're expecting a warlord. You're expecting the greatest martial arts fighter, because that's all he's ever heard, because that's all anyone's ever speculated.
Yeah.
No one knew the path. No one knew what he looked like. They knew there was a book and someone was in charge of the book. This is another one of those telephone type things. You say something, and by the time it gets to the end line, it's totally different. It's a wizard that looks like a dragon, in another millennia. That's what they would be saying.
Well, but when you watch the movie again, notice if they even talk about how badass this guy is, because I think the way they talk about him, you just assume he's going to be like the game boss.
I did pick up on it, because what you only hear someone talk about is Cord.
Yep.
Cord's the only one that
I wrote that down. He's the only one that says anything. No one says you're right. He's a badass.
he thinks they're training for this martial arts thing to go on this journey because you need to know how to fight.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
about not breaking the rules, which is why he lost in the first place. So he lost. Technically, that's the first trial. He actually failed the very first trial to get in there because it's not about the fight. It's about you're going on a path that you accept and you follow the rules. You get to this and now you get fresh faced Christopher Lee.
Right.
And even the way he jumps, he does his little thing whenever he's trying to hand them, the rose, and he is just completely caught off guard. Like, are these your he's looking around like, are these your henchmen? Are they going to jump me? What am I walking into? This felt like straight out of a Star Trek episode. To say we're talking about Star Trek, this is exactly what this felt like. Yeah, that look on his face right there. That's just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. Is that
I think this guy's a good actor.
I think he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I
think
he's
like, what is this?
He got it. He understood the assignment.
Yep.
And he's doing it because he's like, they didn't tell me there was another. Like, basically, there was a rose. They didn't say anything about second rose. Wait, if I take this, is it poison? If I sniff it, will it kill me? And he shuns it basically. Like, yeah, no, thank you. You know, he is on guard all the way up until the very end, till he sees the book. Even when it's time, like, hey, I want to see the book now. And then now I love again, this is fantastic thought process. He opens to that first page and he's confused.
Yeah.
And turns to the second page and he's disappointed.
Yes.
And as you watch it, he gets, till
and he starts smiling.
Yes.
Smiling on the final one where he's like, I get it.
See, here he's like, what?
But you get to see his reaction because it's a mirror.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's so cool.
Or each page. He's
Each page.
So whoever designed that book knew that people would go through like stages of denial and disappointment.
Yes. No, because if you open up and it's just one mirror, you're like, okay, but like it's pages of mirrors.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it could have been just a mirror had it just been a story being told.
Sure.
But because it's a visual medium for us as an audience, we are experiencing his emotion while looking at the book. As a page turns, we're having the same face. Like, whoa, what is that? Whoa, what is that? This is also the Kung Fu Panda ending. The scroll has no writing, but it's reflective. So Poe sees himself in there as,
But look at Christopher.
Warrior.
Christopher Lee is remembering his reaction.
Yes.
He's like, you have the same reaction I had. It's like, I'm like, yeah, what the hell?
Didn't Christopher Lee say he never looked in the book?
No. He did, I think. He's the keeper of it.
Because he's the keeper, I think he had to look, but he doesn't look into it anymore. As he gets done with this too, this is another deep thing that they added to it. And this is why I want to watch it again. Christopher Lee regrets his decision.
Yes, he does.
He's the keeper of the book.
Because he wanted to get out. He goes,
he wanted out. He's like, hey, this allows you to be the new keeper of the book.
Yes, because
you've been seeking this book. This is going to be you now. All the pleasures, everything you could want. Christopher Lee don't want that no more.
No.
He knows that's not the end goal. That's not the answer at the end of the journey.
Right.
And the fact that Cord figures that out, like,
this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the journey. This is the beginning of it.
And if you go back to that last freeze frame of Christopher Lee, I think that's also him realizing, shit, he gets it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he definitely does.
That's regret on his face. So when he goes, you can take the book, you can do this. That's his last ditch sell. Like, when you walk out of a car dealership and you're like, I don't like the deal.
Yeah.
That's the salesman going, hey man,
look at the laugh.
I'm going to throw in, coating or extra tires or whatever.
Floor mats, oil changes. That is Christopher Lee at the end of this. J-Man, I know I don't want you to get dinged, but if you do this, it's when Christopher Lee has that look of despair, but Cord walks out smiling and laughing.
Yeah, look at him. He's like,
look at that. Look how desperate Christopher Lee looks right there. Hey, it's still a good idea. Look at that laugh.
Yep.
That is a man who is enlightened and is like, I get it now. I'm an effing idiot this whole movie.
See, look at him. He's like, no.
There it is.
No, don't.
Like, oh God, I'm
leads
still
to
stuck
laughter.
here with these virgins that don't know what the hell's going on. That's how Christopher Lee feels right now.
Yeah.
Notice there's no ladies around. I'm just saying.
No women allowed. But see, Cord, because even the rules were stupid. That's the point. They show at the end where he rips when DeLonge is dying and he took it. It's like, right. It's like, oh, but you didn't win the thing. Who cares? I'm going. What are you going to do? Right. What's the difference? I'm going.
That's why breaking the rules didn't stop him from going on the journey.
Right.
Right.
He just wasn't chosen.
Yeah,
because you can't be chosen to go on a personal journey.
Right.
You have to go on that journey.
Yes, you have to choose to do it. Exactly.
Which is why David Carradine's like available to the rule breakers to be like, okay, this is for the guys who don't give a shit.
Right. Carradine is selected as, oh yeah, you need to be this guy's guide.
Yeah.
I think no, I don't. I'm thinking that only the rule breakers get a guide. Because the 3-section staff guy didn't have one. DeLonge just didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they all failed. See, this is the other thing. When you watch this, you watch it a few more times. Yeah. This
well,
right.
All those other guys came out from other schools.
So yes.
What you learn in the school, that's your guide, and it's probably going to fail you. But the dude who just made up his own shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the monkey even asks, like, "What's your school?" It's like,
what's
"Oh,
your
yeah,
school?"
And starts laughing at him.
He starts to make fun of him, but I bet if I watch it again, there's a tone of, oh shit.
Yeah, I think they're laughing because they're like, oh, this guy gets it. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen now.
Right.
You know, like it's more like they're laughing out of, oh, this will be fun. Like, this guy's not even from a school.
Somebody needs to do like their college thesis on this movie. That's all I'm saying right now.
I used to write stuff like I wrote a whole thing for Conan just for my own amusement.
I know how J-Man felt rewatching Point Break the other day right now. So that's how I'm feeling right now.
This is what, but that's what I'm telling you. This is what happens. Like you can't just turn it off.
You can't. Well, it's also, once you unlock, goddamn, it's just like this movie. Once you unlock a few pieces, everything else just kind of starts revealing itself as you go. 1978, boys.
And it makes sense that this is a Bruce Lee movie too, right?
So like,
because
when you guys were 12 years old, was there any movie that like you sit there and you're going like, oh, I want to see a cool barbarian type movie, fantasy movie with a barbarian and shit, and then this movie unspools, and even at 12 years old, you get most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it stays with you for the rest of your life. Yeah. Is there any movie that's like this that you saw when you were like 12 years old?
Not when I was 12. I mean, there's amazing movies I've seen, but not that dug as deep that I got any kind of.
I wouldn't say movies. I would say like some of the Warner Brothers cartoon stuff you get after, because like it's written for obviously kids, but it was like the adults would have been watching them in the movies, right? Because they were in between serials, or in between films.
In the 10 years between when I was 12 years old and you guys were 12 years old, like a lot of the movies that, you know.
Well, you're talking 1992 when I'm 12 years old. So think about the movies that came out in 1992. We're just after Terminator 2. We're into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman 1989. It's a totally different era. Yeah. And Hollywood is not allowing, even now, Hollywood's not allowing directors and filmmakers to be this thought-provoking.
You have to be European or go to.
You have to be European or A24. You know.
Yeah. Part of the problem is this movie that it flopped when it came out, and they're like,
because this was
doing that again.
This thing's light years beyond its time.
I
mean, we're seeing it now, and it's 2025, and we're just now going, holy shit! We were touching whatever it was in 1978, and no one cared.
Yeah,
no one gave a shit. And take it even further, Bruce Lee was doing this in the 60s. And coming up with these philosophies.
And that's why I think this is a perfect Bruce Lee movie, because the Rule Breakers As long as you can remain on your path and true to
Mhm.
yourself,
Yes.
you're going to get where you need to go. Because think of how many times you would have been told no, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, good
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah.
And this is
Absolutely.
basically an allegory to his journey in as a person and in Hollywood.
Well, they
Yeah,
they
you're right.
even
And
do
The
they
people
do
who
like
saw this and got it, a lot of them went on to make movies. Like they're the guys behind the scene of
yeah.
Kung Fu Panda. They're Quentin Tarantino, and
Those are
they're the other
Quentin
rule breakers.
Tarantino sat down and watched this movie and experienced it like we just did.
Probably.
And he's got, the film schools and stuff like there's another part in this movie, we didn't even bring it up, where the monkey asks him what style he's going to fight with. And he goes, my style.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a taught style. It's mine. I'm
Right.
just going to fight the way I know how to fight. That's a Bruce Lee kind of way to go.
Oh,
What style are you learned from? I learned this style, but this is now my style. I've created my own path.
Right.
That's Cord. Cord is now creating his own path, for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And again, Cord he broke his chastity rule. Like, he's a rule breaker. Every time you broke a rule, that's your next thing. So it's the trials of yourself. It's the trials of your own rules that you pose upon. The only rules that matter are what you pose upon yourself, but you can't possess yours. You can't possess yourself because you keep changing, right?
And he only did it because he thought he needed to. It wasn't. Right. It wasn't a deeply personal reason for the chastity. It's like it's explained when DeLongis does it. DeLongis broke his vow of silence that he had just done a year ago, or was it 10 years ago? Was it one of the two?
No,
anyway,
yeah,
it was like a year ago. I swore a vow of silence, and now I've broke it. It's called, you did that for yourself. Then you thought you needed to do that, and
Right.
it didn't mean anything to do that. The guy melting his dingling off in the oil. There's no point in what he's doing. He didn't need to do that. And that's why Cord walks, because he invites him. Cord, get in the oil with me. You're already in the oil with me. Let's do this. We're already here. And he walks away from it. That was the moment also that he probably went back to and was like, I don't need my chastity anymore. That's because that's the very next trial.
Yeah. He said you're going to break it. He goes,
that's break it. And he does. He immediately goes. That's where it's like, I wish it hadn't been such a cornball scene, because that would have been, that's almost the center of the movie too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That would have been whoa, for the audience, for him, for everything, that moment that just almost started.
Maybe Cord in his mind, because I'm going with I think general consensus is that wasn't really there.
I'm going with that.
I think we're kind of all there that's not. So I'm thinking that in Cord's mind, thinking about that, just the ludicrousness of it, it's like, why is this, like, this is so silly and weird, and in his mind, it's just silly to him. So he doesn't really take anything of it. And so it is silly. It's like, oh yeah, I'm melting off. Well, how do you eat? Well, my wife and kids bring me food there. That's cool. It's like, okay, this is like so.
That's not
weird.
A life I want to live. That's not living.
That's not living.
You're not living. And it's like, if I don't lay with this woman, it's going to waste and it's going to wither away. So why not have the pleasures of life? Because that's life has given them to us. So why not? Owen's losing his mind now.
Oh, that's the Owen thing.
But it's this point of, why am I denying myself the pleasures that are abundant to me already? There's nothing wrong with it. We're talking about a different time too. So it was Carradine's ninth wife or whatever. So he wasn't that worried about it.
Well, also it was the 70s too. It was like the late 70s too. So all that whole issue is going to be handled like, almost all the teen movies were about, losing my virginity and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's always been
it's not out of place to have that topic.
Right. In 78 it was like fashionable to handle any losing your virginity story as like a goofy kind of like thing. And like that would be like a goal in 1978. But like in Eastern philosophy and religions and all that, retention and chastity and all that, it's still serious business.
It is. You get into the Catholics and the monks and things like that. It's still very much there. It's just in this context here, you kind of you start seeing him understand and put the pieces together in his own head. Like, what I'm doing to myself is bullshit. It doesn't matter.
Is it discipline for the sake of being disciplined, or is it discipline?
Which I think that would probably be a different way to look at it. There's a way of being disciplined and having, that type of characteristic,
Mhm.
but it
Mhm.
because he did it because he thought he needed to. I think
Right.
that's the difference.
It was like
because he
self-
thought he had to.
Yeah, they ask, like,
Self-imposed.
are you doing this for yourself? Like, why is this there? Like, why are you
Yes.
even doing it? It's like, oh, it's just because I feel like that's the thing that you're supposed
Right.
to do. So
Right.
it's like, I need to be the best martial artist. I need to put all this stuff away. I've got to focus just on this. Yeah, but why?
Yeah, that
Right? What is-
basically this movie is about why. That's
Right.
the
Right.
question that he's asking constantly. It's kind of like what the question David Carradine's characters ask him all the time. Why? You
Yeah.
know, you're going to do this. Why? You know, also throwing in like, you know, you're a liar because you said you were going to cut your tongue out earlier and you obviously didn't do that.
And you didn't do that,
Because you're
Yeah.
for a moment you're like, what did he lie to him? He goes, yeah, you said you were going to cut your tongue out, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, that's funny.
Well, think of all the. You know what's cool is that we're gonna end off in a minute or two. We're gonna wind down. So just to remind everybody, streaming on multiple platforms, guys. So the links are in the chat and in the description. Please make sure you're subscribed to all of my panel here. Make sure you're subscribed to me if you're watching on one of these other guys' channels. I really appreciate it. We have this kind of content, and plus other stuff, and we all share interests, but we don't overlap each other's thing. So if I'm doing issue 15 of a comic, Sean's not going to do it the next day, or he can do it still, I guess, if he wants to. But whatever, we'll have different. We'll have somewhat different styles. Okay, so think of all the things that came together for this movie. First of all, okay, so Ross, we met through other ways. So just ignore you for just 1 second. I happened to come across this movie just randomly because I like to search for stuff. This is in the days of like, I'd go to video stores, I'd go to like places selling stuff, and you'd browse, and Sean and I would go and we'd fight over Nemesis 4 and we'd fight over Conquest and all that. Where Sean's like, Jay, they have Conquest and we're separate. I said, just stand there and hold a copy for me. And Sean's like, they have many copies. I said, Sean, if I get there and they're sold out, I'm going to be very upset. I was like, that happened in real. That happened. Yeah. I said, you can wait 5 minutes till I get there. This was at Fan Expo, Steve. So at Fan Expo, like 100 years ago, they had it. It was like Blue Underground, or again, one of these like, you know, boutique shops. It could have been something, Suspect Video, or one of these is something. Yeah. So they had Conquest. He goes, oh, Jay, they have the Conquest movie on DVD finally. I was like, okay, hold a copy for me. I'll come down and get one. I'm just over here. And you're like, it's okay. They've got many copies. I'm like, if I get there and they're sold out, I'm going to be very upset. You can wait 5 minutes for me to walk there, for Christ's sakes. Anyways, but so again, just by searching, streaming is tough now because things come up, but they don't have everything. You're not going to find this. So finding this random movie, buying it, showing it to Sean, and then whatever stream we happen to be on, Charlie and myself, maybe on Owens or something, and we just happen to say, oh, Circle of Iron. Oh shit, yeah, that was a great movie. Yep. It's like, let's watch that. And now again, and then now Steve is brought into it. Ross, you already knew about it, but you've come in for other stuff too. So it's like, it's so cool now. It's like all of this came together just out of nowhere to talk about this really kind of obscure movie. Like for me, even I'm like, as soon as I see a movie, I'm like, okay, I got to get the soundtrack, I got to get the poster. Like I'm like all in. Like I buy everything. I have the lobby cards. I have I have all sets of lobby cards, the large lobby cards and the small lobby cards. And I've got the soundtrack, of course, and I've got the poster. So it's like, and Red Brown's my friend on Facebook, but I know he's everyone's friend because he just accepts everyone's friend requests. So that's not really something to brag about. But it's so cool to see this now together and be like, yeah, we've unlocked this movie from the 70s. Hopefully people see this and kind of, if it's on Tubi.
It's on Tubi right now.
Also, we some of the other ones we've done, we'll talk about it and it'll be like, about 45 minutes before the end of the stream, we're talking about other stuff. And even with the little tangents and all that, we've mostly talked about Circle of Iron for like 2.5 hours.
I didn't have to use my I had a special GIF made up. I didn't, that's brand new.
From what it was?
So Steve showed me this movie. I thought it was going to be piss. But then not this Steve, the other Steven. And he's like, I really liked this movie. And I was like, okay, so we watched it, and I bought it on 4K, which is The Shallows. so it's good. It's Blake Lively, and it's awesome. I'm like, shit. I was like, shit, this was
I think
awesome.
I've seen that.
It's over the shark, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That was. It
It's
was
the
He's out
passion.
on the buoy or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
passion of
It's a
Blake
good film.
Lively. She's injured. Like she is injured bad, like
Yeah.
right away, and you're like, and then she keeps getting injured and injured and injured. I was like, oh my god, this is like terrible. Like, I felt super bad. First of all, that shark is a disgusting villain. It's like he bit her legs, and now she's gonna have a scar on her legs. I'm like, oh, this is just the worst villain of all time. Sacrilege. Worst villain in cinema. Anyway, but yeah, so we stayed on top, like really on top, because there was a lot to unpack in this movie too.
There
It wasn't
is.
like
Let's be
More than
honest, we
almost
could
any
still
other
talk
one.
another hour if we want.
we could still do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just got to I got to do a lecture. I'm doing the world leaders now. So, and I got 80 on my last test, and the test before that I got a 60. So
ooh,
I've
well,
got
you
to
can- you're
do
improving.
better, J man, do better.
Do better. Do
Well, I
better.
like the format where you had like the movie kind of like slide showing it.
Yeah, I like
along
having the movie next to
This
it.
is
That
way
makes
better.
talking
Yeah, I
about
like
it
this
way
format.
easier.
I should have done that from before.
It's
I didn't
less
think of
of
it.
us going, when did this part happen in the movie? I don't remember.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I totally forgot about this one, and we're closing out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This was good.
Well,
God, this
Plus,
movie.
plus the viewers, like anybody watching who hasn't seen the movie, it's kind of like it helps them like decide whether they're going to follow up. Yeah.
Mhm.
And plus, it doesn't seem like inside jokes between us. It's like everybody's in on it now.
Yeah,
No,
I can
that's
show.
definitely
Yeah, I wish I could show the movie, but like, man,
No.
my buddy Pete he does wrestling with horror. I'm going to be on that Tuesday, and we were talking. I can't remember. I think we were talking about Bad Taste, and I've got the Bad Taste soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, I actually have the CD soundtrack of Bad Taste, which is crazy. But he played the music is so like they've got a Bad Taste sound, like they've got a song, Bad Taste. So he played a bit of it. And I had the links, like how you guys are all linked up. That's when I first saw that. Oh yeah, I can link my show to his. So I did that, and I got dinged for copyright because he played the music. I was like, okay,
Wow.
yeah, for Bad Taste, Peter Jackson, Bad Taste.
Dude, it's all AI now. It's
AI.
scrubbing it. It's all. I got hit with a Warner Brothers one for a trailer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
we're getting
was
killed with that as well too, Charlie.
Which I
Like,
think
it's
is the
crazy.
dumbest thing in the world. We're telling people to go watch your shit.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
understand.
But
yeah.
And we're using what you made to tell
right.
people to go
You
watch
made
it.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, they send it to us or give us access to it through EPK. So
Yes.
I don't, or even when the production companies are sending the stuff to us saying, hey, this is our trailer. Can you get it out there? And we're still getting dinged for it. I don't get it.
Are you guys monetized or?
I'm not, but I still get copyright struck because
It doesn't matter. I'm monetized.
I could be, but because of the trailers, we got dinged and we can't be monetized. So we have to get rid of all of those videos.
I delete. I'm going to say this. We're going to end because I got to end. I had to delete 800 videos to get monetized. It's okay. It was all the fat Jason videos where I was 300 plus pounds. So now if you go to the earliest videos of my channel, they're like, hey, this guy always looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I was like Jabba the Hutt or whatever.
Oh man, I can't even imagine you.
True,
good job. Like cocky, skinny Canadian friend.
You haven't seen. You got it. I'm going to send you some. I did. I'll send you some pictures, Ross. I could put two of me next to my wedding pants.
Damn.
I can go two of me like side by side.
Congratulations. Did they have to like remove skin?
There's loose skin. Yes.
Okay.
I can go and get it surgically done, but
all right,
whatever. I lost over 100. My wife lost like 60 too. So and she's way under now. Like it's like she needs to gain. So she went a little bit too crazy. I still need to get rid of about 20 really to be like kind of in where I should be.
Right.
The last 20 is so tough. It's impossible. Like you can't do it.
Last question: If they made the mirror book on Etsy,
I'm getting it. I'm making my own mirror book.
Yeah, that one looked like you could make it at home. That was
if they made Christopher Lee's pointy hat on Amazon, I totally would get a pointy hat.
Yeah, Bob, be careful.
Make sure it ain't white.
About that.
Great advice. That's the best advice of the entire
It'd be a small.
Of the entire thing.
I am your David Carradine. You may want to take my wisdom.
Remember in Fletch Lives where
Oh my
he just put a sheet over top. And he's like, oh, it was last minute notice and all that. And the guys are like, and the guys are like, they're like, oh, it's like, you know, half these guys are green recruits. And he's like,
well, you can't see like, how red my face is. But
the two Fletch movies are masterpieces. But no, he goes, it's like literally just, it's not official. It's just a sheet. He's like, oh yeah, guys, how's it going? He's like, he goes, there's nothing going on at the club, so I heard about this, so I showed up. It's like last minute. Oh my god! And then when they first show up, he's got calculus with them, and he's like, "I've seen that many times." He's like, "Oh, are they your friends of yours?" He's like, "No." Oh shit, that's a great movie. Actually, I think I have something for Fletch Lives to end us off. Hold on, I think I have a Fletch Lives. Do I have a Fletch? I must have a Fletch Lives.
I know you did at one point. I don't know.
I did at one point. Maybe I got rid of it. Let me see. Yeah. No, I got it.
Takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. I am not a big man.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to end there. Guys, everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Well, 13 people have stayed to this for the rubbish at the end. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks to the panel. Make sure everyone subscribe to everybody else here. I want to see the subscribes go up for everybody on here. Everyone is criminally undersubbed. This guy can't get monetized. Charlie's getting dinged for bullshit. It's like
I don't care if you watch this one. I'll get you the links for the 2080.
Whatever you want me to. Yeah, whatever you want me to share, send me, because I'm not going to remember.
Well, you got this is the friendly, we're all friends thing I do. The 2080 thing, it's pretty divisive. So
okay, so yeah, whatever you want. And I'm going to put the script on. I'm going to right after I end this, I'm going to go to this computer. I'm going to put the script on for you guys for this movie. Yeah, next week is Brave Star, so hopefully we're there for that. That's it. I got to go. All right, people.
Try to make it.
Thank you. Later. Until next time.
Later, everyone.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.